All right, good morning, everybody. It is a little spooky outside, a little foggy, a little drizzly here in the Big O the day before Halloween. We are here today. The meteor, asteroid, turd rock in the atmosphere did not come and get us, so we survived for another day. Nebraska Mall Mike, where the hell you at? You just disappointed a lot of people. A lot of people did some things yesterday that they were like, this is going to be our final day on Earth. It did not happen. It is not a good morning for the Los Angeles Dodgers, who got you savaged last night for a guy that was pitching at Roger Dean Stadium against the Jupiter Hammerheads in the Florida State League at the beginning of the year, last year in college baseball, and also a guy that next year could win the Rookie of the Year in the majors, was dominant last night. And the Blue Jays now are up 3-2 in the World Series. Canada against the U.S. We can't do it in hockey. We can't do it in baseball. We have football, maybe.
Well, what do you mean? The Canadians haven't won a cup in
They beat us in the Four Nations.
Oh, God.
Now they're beating us in the World Series. They might beat us in the Olympics in February. Wow. U.S. is going to hell in a handbasket. I'll move to Canada. But the Dodgers are down 3-2. Game 6 of the World Series is coming up on Friday night, as the deficiencies of the Dodgers have been exposed for the last 2 nights. But nice performance last night in the World Series.
What a hell of a way to start a baseball game. I mean, this series has been awesome.
I mean, perfect way to start. They ambush Blake Snell, 3 pitches, 2 home runs, and then you get a guy wheeling and dealing with 23 whiffs, 12 Ks on the mound. You couldn't have thought of a better way for the Blue Jays to go up 3-2 in the World Series.
Well, then he held the 1-4 hitters of the Los Angeles Dodgers to 0 for 12 with 7 strikeouts, which is absolutely incredible.
I think the Dodgers Game 3 is affecting them. They have not been the same since then, and they're playing the wrong kind of team to be a foil for the Dodgers. Like the Yankees are star power, but the Toronto Blue Jays are gritty over pretty.
They're a team.
Well, and they're loose, and they just keep battling. Like the Yankees last year in the World Series tried to go toe-for-toe with their stars and their power. The Blue Jays just battle and battle and battle. And if I'm a star-studded team and their stars haven't been stars, $400 million offense, they forgot to spend money on their bullpen. When you play a team like that, man, they're like a gnat.
Oh, God.
You know what? If it's like a bee or a fly, you can swat it away. But if it's a gnat, that gnat just bugs the crap out of you. And that's what I think the Blue Jays do to the Dodgers.
No, I think you're totally right in the fact that going 18 innings when you don't have a very good bullpen that you haven't invested in, like, definitely goes ahead and affects like the rest of the series for you. And then I also think their approach at the plate has definitely been questionable. Like I think that they're more so swinging for the fences and trying to make up deficits with 2 or 3 swings as opposed to like actually contact swings and putting the ball in play and like being the superstars that they are. So and like it was alarming. Like how many times have we seen this playoffs that a pitcher goes ahead, gives up 2 home runs in the first inning, and then they're like yanked like maybe 2 or 3 innings later, and like other more effective bullpen arms are brought in. Like they had to keep Snell out there and he pitched well.
He was fine.
Yeah, he was fine. He was fine.
Well, but I'm saying that I think it was indicative of like where their bullpen is at, that like other teams.
You thought they should have pulled him?
No. I'm saying that
Dave's saying, please don't give up any more runs.
We had seen other teams throughout the playoffs like have the arms to go ahead and pull Snell, and they just weren't able to because they just don't have that. And it's back to your point of like, I think Game 3 and going 18 and playing an extra game essentially killed them.
We'll have a Game 7.
Whoa.
It's a great series. I think it's destined. Yamamoto will come through.
I said Dodgers in 6. I don't know how confident I am because they're going to go back to a place that's got great vibes. The Rogers Center is going to be rocking Friday night. Trying to do something they haven't done in 32 years.
And I like the Blue Jays. I just think it's destined for a 7-game
big letdown
series.
last night. The Dodger fans who are the ultimate front runners kind of let you know. I saw they were panning in the background, and on the scoreboard they had the graphic "make some noise." There was no noise, but that's tough. I mean that shows you how great Savage was last night. He just completely shut them down. He's a dude, man. It's a great story. That's what the World Series does. The World Series gives you October heroes.
Your Josh Beckett's.
Yeah, but in this case, this is a kid who next year he'll be in the running for the Rookie of the Year. He'll be eligible for the Rookie of the Year. So people will know him. Like October creates these people. It's not just Ohtani.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's the love of baseball, and the uniqueness of baseball is that the underlying players, the ones that don't get the most, a lot of attention, get their opportunity to shine. they're a fun team to watch. They're loose. I just think that's a
Love their manager.
when you get beat in 18 and you lose the way you did, having a loose clubhouse where guys, they're good. I mean, Vladdy is really, really good, but they don't take themselves seriously. They're just like having fun. I think that's probably the best way to bounce back from a loss like that. And it's the worst kind of team for a star-studded team to play, where they're just the gnat, man. They just keep coming at you. They nickel and dime you. For the second straight night, they had one of those innings where they didn't hit the ball hard, but you look up and they have a crooked number on the board. So I don't know, Jimmy. Dodgers are going to need to pull one out Friday night.
Yamamoto is going to need another complete game. That's basically all I'm
We have
banking
seen
on.
it before. A team has gone on the road down 3-2 in the World Series and won back-to-back games.
Yes, we have.
Yes. All right. Welcome in, everybody. There is Matt. There's Jimmy. I'm Gary. It's Gary and Matt on a Thursday. You're waking up this morning. Who would have thought? This is the weird world we live in. You think last week was wacky? You think yesterday was wacky? Today is wacky. I did not know that I'd be waking up and we would have a Will Compton disputing a report by our very own Josh Peterson and 3 different people on the Penn State message boards. Penn State Nittany Lion 03681.
Okay. Sounds legit.
That have mentioned that a contract extension is headed our way for Matt Rule. It's inevitable that this is going to happen, but I did not expect Will Compton to come out swinging last night. It's weird. It's, you know what? It becomes a dick measuring contest. I'm going to just be honest with you.
It is.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. To me, it's a piece of paper. The extension means nothing. He wasn't going anywhere. I have some thoughts on it. Not negative thoughts. I mean, it's important for Nebraska to have stability and keep Rule here for what they have. But I mean, come on, people. Come on, Will. I mean, he talked to Rule.
Yeah.
I know. I know he talked to Rule, and Rule has a lot of media availability today. But this is everything that's being reported is in the process of happening. It's just picking the timing on when you're going to announce it. But Will came out swinging. That was pretty wild. Well, this is why college football is so great.
This is Will Compton has been on a not on. I don't want to say on a tear, but he definitely he has been saying on Bussin' with the Boys and then kind of reciprocating it through Josh Pate that he is, the shining knight for Nebraska and that he is everything.
He did recruit Mike Eckler.
He did. Oh God, yeah. Which is why
Which
is why I'm not saying he's on a tear in a negative way, because he literally helped put that together, and that has saved this season in many ways. So I am all for him being like him trying to represent Nebraska and everything like that. Like, I'm pro Will Compton is what I'm trying to say. At the same time, it definitely is Will Compton trying to be ahead of things and being like, I'm gonna be like the guy, like I'm gonna be in front of the camera, like I'm gonna be the Nebraska representative, like I'm going to be here and I'm gonna make like everything runs through me. If you have a piece of breaking news, hey, you have this question, you have this question, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna try and like make sure I can.
So you think he is blindsiding the Nebraska football media?
No.
Explain. I don't get where you're going here, because I don't think you want to go where I think you're going.
No. Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying that Will Compton is definitely like for the fan. And if the fan has like a question of like, hey, is this going on or is this occurring? Will Compton has the ability and the resources to say, hey, I'll go ahead.
You're saying his heart's in the right place.
Yes. Yeah. I'll go and check in if
you're
that's
talking
the
about
case.
his forum.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got a humongous platform, and everybody knows that he's Nebraska. I think I know it felt like you were saying it's Will against the Nebraska media, which is not the case.
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm saying that Will Compton, if he looks at what
makes the sport stuff that happened at LSU yesterday, stuff like this, which is just it's not petty, it's just dumb. It's dumb ahead of a football game where Nebraska, if you're gonna announce something like this and you want to announce a stadium project sooner than later, you got to win a football game on Saturday night. This is why we love this sport. I did not expect Will Compton to be lashing out about a contract extension that is going to happen. Welcome to the sport.
Well, I mean, I don't know if he was lashing out as much as
let me read the tweet. So this was I don't know, this was last night. I was watching Hillbilly Kobe do what he did last night. This is when this came out.
I went to bed before that happened thinking that game was completely in tow. And then all of a sudden, I
Well.
get a notification that he had hit a game winner.
Yeah, so Julius Randle hit a shot with
Remember
10
that.
seconds to go, and then Reeves turns around and wins it at the buzzer for the Lakers. Husker Nation just got off the phone. This was midnight last night. I can tell you with, in capital letters, absolute certainty that Coach Rule has not signed an extension. Hopefully that blank changes tomorrow. JBR. Okay.
He's just hoping he signs.
Hey, okay. Yeah. This is such a weird thing because the Penn State fans are cheering. Okay, the Penn State fans might be more excited than Nebraska fans because the Nebraska fans at this point just want wins. Okay, I keep saying this, man, you got to make the transition from being a showman to substance. And you can do that by winning football games that matter. And Saturday night is a prime opportunity with momentum that they have and strides that they've made to validate that those things are working on that stage in front of your fans, going all in on the blackout, all of the stuff, two blue bloods playing. I mean, it's the great thing about college football. But then you got Josh Pate responding and Compton's responding back to him. It's just, this is dumb, folks. This whole thing is dumb, and it's a piece of paper. Okay, it's a piece of paper.
Well,
You know what the paper should say? Nebraska beats USC. They're 7-2, and their playoff hopes are still alive. But this is, I mean, Will, what are we doing? I almost want to text Will.
Sure.
But you know where this is going. There's a lot of media availability for the head coach today. He's got a couple of different forums that he is on. But there's also the part of me that says when Nebraska, and remember, I want Nebraska to be different.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want them to be the same. I'm tired of everything being the same for Nebraska just because they're a 6.5-point underdog. And what underdogs recently that are 5.5 to 7.5 point dogs only win outright 38% of the time. Yes, that's right.
Where the hell did you get that from?
It's early, man. I had a
He's
lot of
been up.
coffee. Had a lot of coffee
That
days
is
the day
awesome.
before Halloween.
It should be on Wacky Stats.
Is when you do something like this, then you drop the ball. When you announce a facility project and you have a groundbreaking, and then you go out and you lay a major egg.
Oh, God, yeah.
So let's just be different this weekend, all right? Because Saturday night's all right for fighting with two blue bloods, okay? Two blue bloods that have a lot of questions, and it's a playoff elimination game
Sure.
in Lincoln on Saturday night. So welcome to the wonderful sport that we spend so much time talking about. Ding, ding.
It was incredibly interesting to see everybody for hours say that they all had their own sources, and the message boards had sources, and reporters had sources, and media had sources, and your uncle-in-law had a source, and your brother-in-law had a source, and your friend of a cousin of an ex-girlfriend had a source, and then somebody to say, hey, everybody's got sources, so this thing is happening in the most just kind of like, I don't want to say vague way, but there was no like specifics of like how long the deal was, how much the deal is, how does the buyout go up at all? Like it was, none of that was in that report. It was just like he signed it. It's through this time.
So here's
and then Compton comes in and has to be.
So
like,
here's the problem. Here's the problem. It was a really oddly worded tweet. So from Josh.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's not. You got to clean that up because
yeah.
that opens the door, and then Compton gets into I talked to Matt Rule, which he did.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
he talked to Rule. Again, today is a day of a lot of media availability. This is dumb. This is just dumb because you know what? This and I will, if you want to continue to talk about this, you're fine.
Okay.
But this is the last I want to talk about this until there's anything official because I think this back and forth is stupid. Okay. Everybody's got sources. Okay. All right. Maybe he told people privately yesterday, hey, this is going to happen. Maybe he brought people into his office yesterday morning to tell him this. Maybe. But this can't go. We have a football game on Saturday night.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. You got Maeva against Raiola. Okay. You got Lincoln Riley against Matt Rule.
In football weather.
This is where, okay, old Nebraska, this just consumes the next 2 days. New Nebraska
Sure.
on important football game to play, have to find a way to be 7-2. Thank you.
Okay.
It is an exciting game.
I do have.
Oh, this is yours. You. I'm not.
I have a quick
will sit here and
question for
listen.
you.
No, you take it.
Okay.
You take it. This is yours. You. The kid is in the seat. Go ahead.
I think it's Nebraska football because I got into an argument with somebody yesterday. I got into
about Nebraska football.
Yes, and it's somebody who I think represents like there. No. But wait,
I think I know. I think I know who you talked to. But go ahead. This is funny.
This is somebody
You're going to make a
who-
great point here.
who this is somebody who does like their thoughts represent a decent proportion of what Nebraska football fans' thoughts would be. Okay.
Yeah.
And when all this Penn State stuff came out, they very much were freaking out about Matt Rule leaving. Okay. And they were consistently, hey, this radio host said he wasn't leaving. This writer says he is leaving. Look at this national reporter saying that they're at the top, like freaking out about it. Then this report comes out that he potentially signed an extension. Okay. And this person immediately goes, well, I don't know. Well, I mean, he's 20-17 and he's 9-14 in the Big Ten and he hasn't been a ranked opponent. And I think all this could just say is this is an incredibly precarious situation. It's a unique situation in where you have a head coach who I don't think has done enough to earn an extension, but you also, I think the negative of him leaving the job for somebody within your conference would outweigh the negative of that would outweigh the positive of him staying here. So you have to make a decision like this. That's just kind of how I see it. I will be interested because you say it's a piece of paper, and I agree with that to a certain degree. I would be curious.
A lot of people get fired right after an extension, right?
Well, yeah, and I would be curious to see like how the buyout is affected because that has just been the hot topic.
I disagree with that.
Okay,
because who is poaching Nebraska's coach? The only reason he's attached to Penn State is because there's a connection there. There's nobody else. All these jobs out there. Is his job up on any other? No.
But,
so I'm the buyout thing. I mean, he's got a great job and he likes it here. Okay.
Sure.
Here's what all of this discussion, and now I'm just I want to get over with this.
Okay.
Is the investment in assistant coaching salaries and the investment in the program that has nothing to do with his salary, that in his current deal at 2030 will be $12.5 million, which is well compensated and good on for Nebraska for paying their head coach.
Mm-hmm.
It is what is the financial commitment to the program and not what is the commitment on the bottom line in the bank account of the head coach. That's what I think is most important to me. And I think it tells you more about where they're going. He had leverage. He's smart.
Sure.
He has a really good agent. I'm sure he's well compensated. I don't think he's out for, hey, I need more money. Nobody was poaching him. Okay. Not offered a job. This is the whole thing is about stability. Nebraska has cut down a lot of trees. Okay. They haven't allowed trees to grow. And sometimes when they plant those trees, they already have rot in them and they're not going to grow. They finally got a head football coach. They planted a tree and they've watered it for a couple of years and it started to grow. And there's some branches that are growing. And with any tree, because I think you've been to Arbor Day down in Nebraska City, you got to have a good base, but it takes a long time for that base to grow.
Yeah.
Okay. You got to water it. You got to make sure you take care of it. You got to keep disease away from it, but you need it to grow because then you need the trunk to be strong. And then you need these branches to go. And it probably is a 4 or 5 years at least before you think, okay, has the ash borer, has it gotten to it?
Sure.
So this is about stability and continuing to grow and find momentum. Kind of where Matt Rule is also coinciding with what happened Saturday night, is to say, okay, there is momentum. What kind of momentum? And does momentum get validated by a victory? Or is it, same old Nebraska? We want it to be different Nebraska around here, right?
Yes.
Okay. But different Nebraska is, okay, somebody rang our bell. They rustled the Jimmy of Chancellor Gold and the athletic director, and we're going to make an investment. Tell you what, they gave me money. I would do this. If they gave me money and they gave me about a year, I would help them find the sleeping alumni that are out there that are holding on to money and are just waiting to hit the ATM for Nebraska.
I mean, I think if they haven't already hired somebody like that they need to do that right away, because I mean
they have plenty of people.
Yeah,
I'm just saying this Saturday night starts to wake up some sleeping alumni. The end of November wakes up some sleeping alumni.
I love your analogy in terms of the tree and growing the tree, and Nebraska needing a strong base like that. I do think though that there still is the fear of they could lose to USC And then what
Yeah.
if they lay an egg to Penn State
Yeah.
and then they go 7-5 and then you have
Yep.
a coach now who's extended for a long period of time who hasn't necessarily achieved what you thought or wanted him to achieve. But I do think to your
See, that's why I say it's a piece of paper, because
Yes.
let's say you extend somebody and here, Billy Moose, he loved to extend people. I mean, if you were upright and had a pulse and you had a good day, man, you probably got an extension, some extra cash. Okay.
Sure.
But you could say, hey, we're going to extend you.
Okay.
You're 7-5.
Okay.
Next year you could be gone.
Sure.
Okay. So
But-
what does that extension do?
But I think that people are very, very afraid of what is happening in Wisconsin and Luke Fickell right now, where Luke Fickell's buyout is so high, where Wisconsin is not willing to pay that buyout. And it seems like they're going to have a lame duck season because of that. And I think that there's nothing more that college football fans fear than entering a year knowing, oh, you're hopeless. Oh, you're not going to, like, you waste a year of football. I'm just saying, like, I think people are just curious as to what, if his buyout were to go up, if it were to be more expensive to do that, if the contract would potentially maybe put Nebraska in that similar situation if things didn't work out.
I think that's
people
what
are
college
curious about.
I get what you're saying, but I'm also playing the game. This is what college football is, man. Good
Sure.
agents, they have buyouts. Look at what just happened at LSU and the discussion there. I mean, to be in the game, you got to play the game, unfortunately. And maybe this will change down the road where the buyouts are less and there is more money dedicated towards players. I don't know if that will happen someday.
Yeah.
But to be in the game, you got to play the game, unfortunately. And we have seen around here, Nebraska has stumbled and they've had to pay major buyouts.
Mhm.
But you to play the game, you got to get in the game and all of that kind of stuff. And extensions to me are a piece of paper. It's about the investment in the program of now that the guy is in charge and he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Does he have the tools to be successful so that there are no excuses? So if you
Mhm.
have to make a decision on if he's a good coach for you or not, you've exhausted all of the resources and he has everything at his fingertips and he just wasn't a good coach with everything.
Sure.
Go find the coach that can do that with all those resources.
I'm lockstep with you in terms of that is the most important part of this entire endeavor of, like, does he use his leverage and use the momentum that he built this season to get more of an investment into that? I just do think when you're sitting in this cloud of, like, you don't know the details of the contract and all that you know is that it's just an extension, you're hoping, hey,
But-
you potentially haven't put yourself where you could
But
be
let me ask you this.
in a lame duck season.
Why do you care? It's not your money.
Well, I no,
It's not your
the
money.
reason I care is because what I explained is because you don't want to be in a situation where you have a coach that went 7-5 and then he went 7-5 again, and it is valid to move on from them. But hey, you had this massive buyout and it's just way too much money in order to pay, and so now you're going to have another season where, like, you know that you're basically hopeless and that all you're just looking forward to is when you're actually able to get rid of the guy and hire a next coach. You don't want to be in that situation like Wisconsin's in.
Okay, but has there ever been a large buyout that has ever prevented Nebraska from moving on from
No.
a coach?
No.
So I don't
It hasn't,
have that fear.
but-
I think your fear is valid and you're not alone.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's not my money.
Sure.
Okay. And
But-
and if around here people care enough about football, look at Scott Frost had a healthy buyout.
But-
Trev made 2 calls.
Sure.
And they're like, we got you.
But
We got you, bro.
I agree with you that this is something that they have to do and that they have to sign and that they have to stabilize. But I'm kind of voicing the opinion of the people who have those concerns. And also too, though, with the Scott Frost buyout, like, the 15 million is a hell of a lot less than the 56 million that LSU is going to have to do with Brian Kelly and the 76 million that Texas A&M did with Jimbo Fisher. Like, I really don't know. And this isn't a Nebraska thing. I just don't know how many other programs outside of those two could really eat up a buyout like that.
Well, I mean, look at Signetti's buyout.
Yeah.
That's what, 15 million?
15 is.
Yeah. So I think there's a difference between the South and here
Oh, sure.
when it comes to contracts.
Oh, sure.
All right. Coming up on the show, speaking of buyouts and contracts and Matt Rule, Ari Wasserman, Ramon 3 will join us coming up at 8:45. Steve Sipple stops by at 9:15. Brian Edwards at 9:45. It is a battle of the Blue Bloods Saturday night at Memorial Stadium, Nebraska and USC. We're going to do a vibe check throughout the morning. because the vibe check on the game is all over the map on what people think is going to happen in that game. So we'll get into that as we roll through on a Thursday, the day before Halloween. Might be a busy Halloween. On a Friday, I got people that are texting me going, hey, what good neighborhoods in Omaha should we go trick-or-treating?
What good neighborhoods in Omaha should I go trick-or-treating?
If you had children, I would give you some tips.
You don't think I can trick-or-treat? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No.
I'm kidding. Of
No.
course I can't.
No.
I would ask.
I would like to keep you off the news.
Garrett, actually, what I was going to actually ask you is, what are good places like bars could go to for Halloween?
Oh,
I haven't. I haven't
would
been out here before.
I would think because I like the ugly Christmas sweater bar crawl that we have on Leavenworth, they probably also do very well with Halloween parties.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's probably a Halloween bar crawl.
I have to go to a Spirit Halloween today because I botched my Amazon situation. Late.
Did they botch it?
No, I botched it.
Just
Late. Didn't order in time. I thought I was good. I thought I was okay, and then I
tariffs.
No, it's the cockiness of owning Amazon Prime. Like
all to watch terrible game
when
tonight?
you have, and by the way, I don't own it. My
Watch Lamar back in Miami.
My mom has Amazon Prime, and she lets us use it. And so the cockiness of being like, oh, I could get this in a day, or I could get this in 2 days, or like it'll come instantly, and then like realizing that that's just not always how that works. So now I'm gonna have to cough up some cash at the Spirit Halloween.
All right. We're going to do the same costume or a new one?
New one.
Oh, I look forward to this.
Well, no, I'll send you some pictures. I'll get your.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
I like this.
I had a friend one time tell me, he looked me right in the eyes and he goes, "You look like the type of guy to meet your wife on Halloween."
Oh,
And I'm
okay.
like, all right, I've never forgotten you, Joe Young. So we're gonna try.
Now
and
I got
figure
something
that
to pay
out.
attention to.
Joe
tomorrow.
Young. All right.
Chippy was his name.
Joe and all of you can join us in the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. We will talk plenty about Nebraska and USC that are coming to town with a wide receiver that could be drafted in the top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
Mr.
awesome.
Mr. Lemon. Mel Kiper, Todd McShay, they love Mackay Lemon. We'll see if we love him or not. 951-1620, that's 402 area code here in the Big O. We're off and running with Gary and Matt and Jimmy on a Thursday before a big football Friday fiesta, before a big blue blood showdown that I don't think is getting enough attention nationally, but that's where we're at. That's where we're at. We'll create attention
I was about to say.
on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back in on a Thursday morning. How we feeling, USC, Nebraska?
I feel better.
Whoa, okay. All right.
Could it just be the caffeine?
I'm kind of, I don't want to bury the lead completely
Yeah.
on our wacky stats segment, which is going to happen later because it has something to do with what I did yesterday. But
That's why I'm here.
I watched the Illinois USC game yesterday. There was a great hour condensed version, no commercials, no nothing. It was perfect. Just went in and out of
Big
place.
10 and 60?
No, I don't think it wasn't that fully because it was just somebody edited together. And
Somebody does they put on Reddit the Nebraska game every Monday or Tuesday. They do blank versus Nebraska versus blank in 40 minutes.
Nice.
I was like, wow, that's kind of cool.
I found that video though, that version with USC versus Illinois. And I saw a lot of what Illinois did against USC, and I thought this is doable. I was like, if Nebraska plays this way against USC and
coming
they
around,
well,
win.
it's not that I'm coming around. I'm just saying, I would, if I was Nebraska and I was looking for a way to beat this team that is obviously more talented than me, I would look at the Illinois game as a blueprint of hey, look at them run the ball. Look at them use the quick game. Look at them use the slants.
Yeah.
Look at them use RPOs. That Illinois did a lot against USC.
Yeah, they ran for almost 5 yards per carry.
Yeah, it was 182 yards.
And then Love turned around and ran for 228. They for 9.5 per tote. Well, if they stick with running the ball, then under center, please. Under center, running the ball.
Yeah.
The thing that I fear if you get into the hole of 3 and out, start stacking up. But you run the ball, control the clock, have some game control. I'm with you. Illinois, their 2 road games, their 2 recent road losses, they've gotten run on. Illinois what Illinois ran, as you saw, downhill run game.
And
quarterback handoff. They didn't try to do anything fancy. They just won battles at the line of scrimmage, which this is the familiar USC teams.
Sure.
They got some big old Samoans and some NFL guys that are up on the defensive line or in that front 7 because USC, under Pete Carroll, I mean, it was death taxes, and they were going to have good defensive linemen and really good linebackers that were going to go play in the league. They're not their back end is so much better than their front 7. So if you can control the line of scrimmage, but are you built like Illinois and Notre Dame's offensive line to do that?
So that was my first takeaway when I was first watching the game. As I started thinking of that, I was like, how much of this is can Nebraska replicate if they don't have the offensive lines that Illinois has, right?
Yeah.
Because Fegan wasn't getting touched as much until past the line of scrimmage. But there were points in the game where I did think, USC is just not good at tackling. They are just missing tackles right here. And I think that especially if you can you can do the same thing against Nebraska too. If you can get the ball on the outside, you could force some of these DBs to tackle that you might be cooking with peanut oil.
What is Emmett 3rd in the country in missed tackles?
He's 3rd in the country in missed tackles. He's got it's on wacky stats, so I got
we'll save it for the wacky stats. Yeah, because he's also 2nd in explosive runs.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's not on there.
That's that on the wacky stats.
We got some good wackies.
There are 2 running backs watching Emmett play that I've gained a larger appreciation for. And we'll talk about that when we get to your wacky stats.
Nice.
All right, the world didn't end yesterday.
Yeah.
This guy's got a lot of explaining to do.
Big apocalypse overreaction.
Hello, Nebraska ball, Mike. Well, don't give me no hey.
You still need to pay attention to them.
Okay, they're not here. We're still here this morning.
They're still going to do what it's going to do. We didn't know. We still don't know.
All right, are you going to live in fear every single day?
Than anybody paying attention to it. Because I actually been watching this thing for 2 weeks. And you guys are clowning me.
Yep.
Like I don't know that I told you. We don't know. You're going to clown me on everything?
No. On your space stuff, I will, but your sports stuff, hell no.
Mr. Compton.
He's not here.
Program made you famous, made you a lot of money.
Oh, what are we doing?
But when you played here, and everybody playing here now, right now, this is not a helmet game. Because Nebraska hasn't made them helmet games in years.
Okay.
This is a AAA program.
Okay.
Part of the reason it is a AAA program is because we have former players out there who can't keep their mouth shut, who just think they have to talk.
Okay, well, no, hold on.
They make money,
Time
and they're famous, and they're an alumni.
Hey, he is.
I don't care.
Oh, what?
You
What?
needed to keep your mouth shut,
Time out.
and you didn't.
Time out. What? Why are we going off on Nebraska football's best national
I was
ambassador?
about to say.
What did he do to tick you off?
We're a AAA program until we're not.
So he played here. Blood, sweat, and tears. He loves the program. All right. He is the only guy that appears on national forums. He's on Get Up this morning,
Yeah.
probably dressed in a Nebraska shirt.
Shouldn't
What?
be.
Why?
Why
What-
shouldn't he be?
Hold
He
on,
worked
Mike.
his way to
Mike,
get there.
Mike, we're off to a
We
bad
haven't
start here.
won.
Okay.
Josh Pate, I like him. He shouldn't be talking about us.
Why?
That's
What?
good
We
that he talks.
haven't
Hey.
won.
Okay.
We
Okay.
have to go do it.
Yeah, yes, but you
That's
know
I
what?
said when the season started.
Okay, that you're absolutely right. But how about this? If you are irrelevant, no one talks about you. They are 6-2.
Yeah, right. I'll
People
give you an
people
example.
talk about 6-2 teams, and then they go, I don't know if I can try. Then they're 7-2, or they're 6-3. Okay.
Sia Wright went out to California, went back home,
Okay.
and made a name for himself. Everybody knows his name. Everybody knows he's a leader because of what he did.
At Nebraska.
The question is, can we follow him and get it done? It's not worth talking about contracts which may or may not be signed. If you have that inside information, keep your mouth shut until they get signed.
All right.
The
There's a-
last thing we need to do is start spooking people. We actually have a coach who cares about this program,
What do you think?
Mr. Compton.
What do you think? Rule's
Wait,
going to be ticked off and
I think
Rule's just going to
Kyle-
leave? No, Mike, we're all over the map here, kind of like your asteroid, okay? It's okay. It's
Not
okay.
an act.
I didn't say it was an it's called asteroid. Asteroid.
That's not all over the map either.
Okay. Well,
You still got to pay attention to it.
6-7.
Jeez.
Whatever.
Mike.
You
Yeah.
want to clown me like I'm 12?
Who's-
It's up there.
Okay. It's up there. Matt went and found it.
I did. I actually,
Uh,
Mike, I know what you're talking about. I was actually trying to explain to people it wasn't necessarily going to hit yesterday. It was just actually coming through the solar system.
And I
Okay.
don't think I said it. It was supposed to hit yesterday either.
Yeah, you did.
Well, you did.
You did.
You were like,
Because we had a lot of people that took yesterday
Okay.
off work.
but
We had a couple
I'll own
people here
that
in the
part.
building.
But yeah,
That's
I
not
mean,
what I
it is.
meant.
I mean, for the most part, though, we were supposed to know the most that we should know about it yesterday, and nothing really came out toward your theory and other people's theories about it. It's still going on the same trajectory.
All I know is that we are a AAA program until we are not.
Uh,
All the fans, you want to know when we weren't a AAA program?
But Mike, there's nothing wrong with trying to get ahead of it, and there's nothing wrong with trying to be relevant, and there's nothing wrong with putting Nebraska
if
in the
we had a
national
line
media.
that was healthy,
But
we
there's,
had a line that could keep them
but-
upright.
I don't
okay,
know that
I
anybody
would
is.
call
Hey, hold on.
two different
Stop. Who is talking braggadocious about this week? We
Yeah.
are talking about a football game because you have Nebraska and USC get to play a football game in primetime in Lincoln, okay, on national television. It's the cool thing about college football. Both teams have
It
many
is.
questions. You would go,
It
how are
is.
they 5-2? How are they 6-2? But you know what? We talk about it. But there's nobody that is in Lincoln that is beating their chest and going, we are back. We are back. You can't say we are back until you win more games like Saturday night. But you can't start until you win those games. And when you don't win those games, you don't talk very much. And just because the current sitting head coach might be extended has nothing to do with Saturday night. It has to do with the trajectory of the program and where it's going.
I agree.
All right. One game isn't going to change everything. Okay.
And why
A
is
month
Will Compton
a
talking
month could change things at
about this
Nebraska.
game like it matters. It's one game, and we have to go do it.
Yeah, that you're absolutely right. Your prognostication about Saturday is a lot spot on ahead of the world ending yesterday.
I didn't say it was going to end.
And I went back and listened. I was
just
really worried.
said if
I
you
trans-
got stuff you
I
gotta
transferred
do,
funds
and you got
yesterday
stuff
because
to
of you.
care about.
All right. Well, here, let me just give you this bit of advice, and we got to move on. And you're always welcome to call. Okay. Do not live your life in fear. All right. You don't. You've never lived your life in fear because you're a Nebraska basketball fan. Okay. You know how to ride the roller coaster and take the pain and take the joy. So just live that way. Live every day. Don't worry about something that is out there in the sky. Only worry about what is in the sky when Kyle Cunanan kicks a overtime field goal, okay?
Pay attention to it.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
all.
All right. You
Can't
hey,
control anything up there.
if you get an update on anything, if we need to be worried or shut down the radio station, let us know, all right? Your first call should
You
be to
wouldn't
us.
take it seriously anyway.
Yeah. No, I will if it's coming. If
it actually is coming,
Yeah, we'll
and
just
like,
set it to network
creates
and
a
go
tail
home.
and it turns to be
I
an
was-
aircraft.
I
like
was
that.
watching
I mean,
The View yesterday, and they didn't talk about it, so I was a little bit suspect.
You,
That's
Gary.
your main source of info.
we,
is The
we don't
View.
need to talk about the amount of help you need based on that last statement you just made.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who doesn't like a little whoopee? All right. Thanks, Mike. Have a great day.
I think
All
there
right,
are
Banks
plenty-
told us.
there are plenty of people who don't enjoy a little bit of whoopee. I'm not speaking on behalf of myself or anybody. but
He
I'm
doesn't
just
enjoy it,
looking
does
at the
he?
polls.
When I get home during the day.
You watch The View?
Well,
Well, you had to
sometimes when I
find
get
out the
home
world
and I
was
turn
gonna
on the
end.
TV, it's like 10:55.
Yeah,
And
true.
so I've left it on ABC because I watch the KTV morning show.
Okay.
And so the view is what, 10 to 11?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
leave
it's
your
usually on.
Showcase Showdown's
I
going on
don't-
at that time.
I don't watch.
you leave your TV on when you
No,
leave
I
the
said
house.
turn my TV on.
Oh,
It
turn
was on
back
ABC.
I thought you said that you leave it back on. You walk in and it's
Yeah,
The View.
for my cat. So my cat can watch
Well,
TV.
I was gonna say I would love to have that money and not worry about my electricity. Like I get
I
scolded.
I turn off the lights. I turn off the TV.
Yeah,
Remember, he
I-
doesn't.
I-
He doesn't use the
I-
AC in the
I
summer.
lock the door.
I get scolded by an individual if I leave the house and the lights are on.
Hi, Dan.
So
That does bug me. I've always, I think that's of the very few things that I learned from my parents.
Yeah.
It's like, do not leave the lights on.
well,
Because I would go into every room and just turn lights on and just walk out. Just,
So I did text my parents a couple of months ago, and I did apologize for that after I had to pay my first.
like when you were 12.
when I when I paid my first electricity bill.
When I was 4.
I
and Max-
actively went and I said, I am so sorry. Because I probably have cost them hundreds, probably thousands of dollars just to keep it like
You learn when you're on your own and you have to pay for things. You're like,
You become
okay.
very cheap.
oh,
Yeah.
incredibly.
Or you are more self-conscious. You're more budgetary is the best way to describe it. All right, we've made it to Thursday. We didn't die. Thank you, Nebraska Ball Mike.
And apparently, we still have to watch out for the big turd in the sky or something like that.
You know what? I got other things to worry about. Okay. If it hits, it hits. You know what? What am I going to do? Be able to go out in my backyard and catch it?
Mm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
If it happens, it happens.
I mean, it wouldn't end well if it hit, but
Well, no, but we would probably
it's not
shut her
go-
down.
but
here.
but it's like it's
What's the
it's not-
network show on right now? Two
No,
cups and
do
a-
not feed into this.
I'm not feeding into it.
Yeah.
I find these things interesting.
Yeah,
and
but
actually,
see, here's what happens. People go down the rabbit hole and they
Yeah.
never get out. And the next thing you know,
I
I'm being told
know.
about all these conspiracy theories, and
But-
I'm like, I just want to know, can Nebraska cover and win on Saturday night? And you're like, well, you know what?
Take 5 takes a
You know
dark
what?
spin.
You know what?
cover.
You know what football is doing to America. What football is doing to America is what we saw in Louisiana yesterday.
Oh my god,
That was glorious. That's why we love the sport. That's
That's
why
so
we love
good.
games like Saturday night. It'll be all right for fighting. Nebraska and USC.
This would probably be the.
It's going to happen,
first-
folks.
This would be the first game, probably since Houston Christian, that I would bet on Nebraska if I bet on Nebraska football game.
Okay. All right.
So maybe people should feel. And by the way, if I had been betting on Nebraska football games, the mixed sports book would be doing incredible. It'd be killing it.
You should be. You have inside information.
I don't have inside.
You work here.
Not inside.
Yeah, ball knowers.
Oh, I see what you did. Ari Wasserman will join us a little bit later with his thoughts on a intriguing weekend of football. Who would have thought that Penn State, Ohio State, and USC Nebraska would play on a weekend and they wouldn't even be the 1 or 2 top games?
That's incredible.
Might be Navy, North Texas. We're off and running. Hour 2 coming next on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back in. Hour number 2 on a Thursday morning. A little rainy, a little foggy outside. It feels like the day before Halloween, which, if we were still in college, would be a holiday. Halloween in college greater than St. Patty's Day.
Halloween on Friday with the day before on a
Mm.
Thursday.
Um,
Oh, yes.
I think, yes, at the University of Nebraska, without a doubt. Halloween was the holiday. Halloween was an absolute blast. It was great. St. Patty's Day was just, if you liked McKinney's, you would
Hell,
just
college Arbor Day
sit-
can be a blast.
you would just sit in that McKinney's tent for about 6 hours and drink a bunch of green beer and greatly regret it in the morning. Where now, if you go to the University of Dayton, I think that St. Patty's Day trumps.
Yeah. St. Patty's
know.
Day to me is very much one of the top amateur drinking days.
Yeah.
So I don't partake in it. But Halloween on college campuses, you go to the University of Ohio in Athens,
Oh, sure.
they live for Halloween.
Wisconsin.
Nebraska and Lincoln, or the University of Nebraska at Lincoln,
Mhm.
was a good Halloween party. Yes,
Oh,
it
God.
being on a Friday, Omaha Scanner may be your best friend to
There you go, Matt.
to observe. But you got high school football playoffs going on tomorrow night.
Game 6.
World
You'll
Series.
have kids will be dressed up in their costumes.
Yeah,
So it'll be a lot of fun.
it would be a great time.
Our light will be off.
Okay, so before we get into another observation that has nothing to do with Lemon or King Miller or Sierra Wright or Deshaun Singleton.
Okay.
Um,
You kind of hit all the high notes there.
Oh, well, I gotta go inside the numbers with you. I do want to. There are two individuals that I've gotten to know in my career that either today or in the month of December are big moments in their career.
Okay.
So he announced his retirement a while back, towards the end of the summer. You interned at 10/11.
I did.
My ex was a anchor at 10/11. And I know Ken and his wife Deb really well.
Oh.
But I have not, when you move to Omaha or you
Sure.
move away from Nebraska and
Is
you
today
move
the
to
day?
Omaha. Yes, Ken Shimmick's
Oh,
last day is
man.
today at 10/11.
We were just
39,
talking about it.
39 years. He'll do the 6 o'clock forecast. If I was Ken, and he's funny. He's got a great personality for people that know him. He's such a generous human being.
Mm-hmm.
He said he's not going to wear a tie anymore.
Nice.
Like he's going to be done. And him and his wife Deb, who used to be one of the main anchors at 10/11, they are both retiring at the same time.
That's great.
So they'll be able to enjoy their retirement with all of their kids. I would think it would be great as a meteorologist tonight in his illustrious career at that fine radio station that, they only pay you to work at one station, but you work at two.
Mhm.
You work at Channel 10 and Channel 11.
Mhm.
I think he should
It's not how it works.
I think his final forecast should be sunny and 75, even though it will not be sunny and 75 on Saturday for game day. That's how he should go out. He should just throw it up there, sunny and 75, and just walk off. And people are like,
Except 43 kickoff.
whoa,
But then
global
75.
You
warming is
understand-
back. And then let whoever takes over at 10 just fix the forecast. But congratulations, Ken Shimmick. This is his last day at 10/11. I know there'll be a lot of emotion. There has been,
Mm-hmm.
but what a career. 39 years at one TV station.
That's won anything.
Yeah.
You want his last ode to be lying?
Yes. Sunny and 75. Why give a doom
Yeah.
forecast?
And the winter forecast,
So,
0 snow.
You know what, folks?
Unseasonable warmth.
down there in Beatrice tomorrow, you're going to have frost. So look out for them pumpkins. No,
Scott?
go out all happy and go sunny and 75.
Maybe close to 80.
And that's your walk-off. Will there be tears? You think there'll be tears?
God, yeah.
You think there'll be tears?
Without a doubt.
There'll be cake?
He's worked there for 40
Oh,
years.
there's always cake.
It's always
11,
cake.
10/11 when they boot you out the door, or they steal you from Channel 8. Like when you don't sign your contract at Channel 8 in Lincoln, you always end up at 10/11. Yeah,
Thank God I
10/11's a
love
big
you with
cake place.
Yeah.
Like
My
did
wife
you get
got
a,
a
did you
cake
get a
when she
cake
left.
when you got done?
We had.
Yeah, they love cake.
Mhm.
Lincolnites like more cake. I think we're pie up here. I think we like pie.
Yeah.
I think people in Lincoln like cake. We like sweets though. We like
God.
we like to get fancy with our sweets in Omaha. They just stick with the solid cake in Lincoln.
They
Love some cake.
had
I've lived in both places, so I think I have. I think I can say.
Taryn Vanderford. She would bake treats. for
Oh yeah,
people.
wasn't she one of them? Wasn't her and her husband
Yeah.
the anchors?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so they
We don't get 10/11 here in Omaha,
she
so I don't
would
know.
she would go ahead and she would bake treats a lot. So there would
Okay.
always be like sweets
right.
and stuff. They're like, I got fed very well. They would I think they 10/11 had like a partnership with Amigos. And so for whatever reason,
Whoa.
Amigos was always like in and around the
They
office.
crawled
and you
so
can
Jeff
kind of just
Sims
grab
could
and
walk.
go and get Amigos. Ken would know who I am. Like we've met and we've talked.
Yeah.
But if he saw me, he would be like, "Oh, you look familiar," but I don't think he would remember my name or
Mike.
anything like that. Yeah, probably. In the brief interactions we had though, and just him just being around 10-11, he's like cooler than the other side of the pillow.
Yeah.
Like he was just always just a class act, nice guy, treated everybody with respect. Like he was a big deal, and there's a reason why they do a ton of weather like on 10-11,
Yeah.
which is because
he's good.
he's the guy. But he never walked around like he was the cock in the walk or he was a big deal or anything like that. Like he was just always a down to earth guy. So congratulations to him, and hopefully they're able to find someone to fill those shoes.
Now, the other person that made it official, but he's been trending this way. And he's somebody who, when I first got into this business, was great to me. And we don't run across each other very much, except we compete in the mornings. Gary Saddlemeyer, up the street at KFAB, announced that he is going to retire. And Sadler has been, nearly 50 years at KFAB,
Wow.
a corporate radio station where, they've had to make some decisions. And he's somebody that has been the voice and the face of that fine radio station for that long. He's going to retire in December. And he is one of the nicest people. Again, when I first got into this business in Lincoln, because remember, KFAB was the home of the Huskers.
Mhm.
A 50,000 watt blowtorch. Probably some people in our listening audience, your parents have that radio that was on top of the fridge and it was soldered to
Yep.
1110
In the kitchen.
because that's where they got all the news and that's where they got the Huskers. And then it changes radio stations, but yet they wonder why it's still not on KFAB because
Yeah.
your radio only gets KFAB. But Gary is fantastic, extremely talented. He has lived a wonderful life, and now he'll get to live a life where he is not waking, as he told me recently, waking up at 3 or 4 in the morning to go into KFAB. So nearly 50 years. He's going to retire in December. Again, to me, he's always been very, very kind. And he helped me when I got into this business with asking a bunch of questions because people know him as their morning show host.
Mhm.
But, look at between 1980 and 1995, Gary and Kent were the voice of the Huskers.
Yeah.
So you had Kent Pavelka, Gary Saddlemeyer, you had Terry Leahy, you had Tom Johnson.
Wow.
Chris Walls was the engineer. I don't think they had a sideline person until we got into the 90s, I
Okay.
think. But it was Kent and Gary were the voice of the Huskers. And then in 95, when the network changed and they were out, Gary never returned to the booth. But Gary and Kent were such a great combo during that run between 1980 and 1995. And I got to be involved
Mhm.
right away. And so they were, Kent, I love Kent, who's celebrating his 51st year as the voice of Nebraska
Morning,
basketball.
KP.
Yeah, they were accommodating. They were like, "Oh, get out of here, you little kid! Quit asking questions. Don't think I'm coming for your job." So, congratulations to Sadler, man. He gets to go into retirement after nearly 50 years at KFAB, and they made it public yesterday on his morning show. So, I'm happy for him, and
That's awesome.
we're a lot of the HOFers that are still in radio
Mhm.
in this state. They're getting closer to retirement, and I'm glad for them. So, congratulations to Ken and congratulations to Gary.
Yeah, that 50 years is absolutely incredible, and kudos to you too for they paid it forward to you, and you've paid it forward to other people.
Yeah, how come I wasn't named the voice of the Huskers?
Well,
How come they give it to Jim Rose?
no, that's not what I was.
Oh.
That's not what I was talking about. I was talking about your
Oh.
work with younger broadcasters
Yeah.
and your ability to watch and do their tapes
I
like
used
they
to,
did
I
with you.
started as the spotter. Kent Pavelka punched me in the jaw
Whoa! Why?
when Amon Green scored in Boulder, Colorado.
Oh, it was an accident. Okay.
I don't
He's
know.
like, no, you can punch me again if he's going to score
it
like
was
that.
It was clearly an accident. He probably got
He-
very excited and he rocked.
Did he punch me in the jaw? About got knocked out in the booth in Boulder.
To be honest,
As
Well,
that
Amon
that
Green
run,
was scoring.
Does Kent pack a good punch?
When he gets excited. Yeah, Kent and Gary, man, they would get excited. They hated Colorado. And at the time, the voice of the Buffs was Larry Zimmer.
Yeah.
Legendary. The
Mhm.
late Larry Zimmer, who also was the voice of the Broncos.
really
and-
nice man.
The Colorado radio booth and the Nebraska radio booth were right next to each other.
Oh,
And so there would be pounding on the wall when something good would happen. I think that's what Gary did.
that's awesome.
No.
That's cool.
It is, the other
incredible.
part of that radio station that Gary Saddlemeyer is retiring from.
Mhm.
It is wild that Nebraska football in the city of Omaha has been on two 50,000-watt stations.
Yeah.
They're not going back to KFAB. The other one they were just recently on, 590. Who knows what the future of that looks like? It's all national programming that they refuse to carry the World Series.
Mhm.
And now they're on a different signal here in town, which does not have the power.
Mhm.
That's wild. You're on two 50,000-watt signals in the city of Omaha, two of the greatest signals in the state and in the area, and you're not on there anymore. But Gary and Kent were the voices of the Huskers. So again, congratulations to Gary Saddlemeyer. I'm sure this will find its way back to him, and I'll get something on Facebook.
Yeah, that probably checks out.
Hey, he's always on Facebook.
He's not on Instagram.
Yeah. He's
TikTok.
he's had some off the mic things that he has had to overcome. He's had some tragedy in his life, and I'm happy that he gets to go out that way. But he's so talented.
Yeah.
In what he does. So congratulations to both of those guys. Again, Ken, 6:00 tonight. Sunny and 75 should be your final.
He's not gonna lie.
forecast.
Stop. He's
Why?
not gonna lie.
No snow this
No
winter.
one would
Not gonna
care.
lie.
No one would care.
Yes,
They'd be
they
like,
would.
"Oh, I get it. Yes, you know what?
Yeah.
I've always been sunny and 75 when I've watched you."
They need to do like
80 on
I'm
Christmas.
very excited to see what type of package, like video package, that they put together before he does this.
Vignette?
Yes,
Mhm.
you know I'm a
Yeah.
sucker for a good
Yeah.
vignette. All right, I will literally go back and watch old vignettes of whether it be like Jim Crockett wrestling or WWF.
Ken
or, of
Shimmick and
course,
Jim Crockett wrestling
Yeah.
got mentioned in the same breath.
Maybe
Hell
Ken
yeah.
likes.
Hello.
I mean, maybe Ken likes Jim Crockett wrestling, but like I watch.
Ken has always been, damn it, he's been real to me.
I have a dream, baby. But now, look, same thing with like I
Tonight Show
watch
with Jack Parr.
the old NBA vignettes
Yeah.
of like and the old like World Series vignettes too. Like they need to hit it out the park
See,
tonight.
it was pretty good, wasn't it?
Oh my
And see,
God.
they got you
Yeah.
going.
It did get
It's like Costas the other night.
That was
Okay.
so good.
So we're a couple of days away from the blackout.
Ah, yes.
Two of my favorite things to talk about this week: the blackout and the extension.
Can I
Ooh,
can I throw something out about
I want to talk about the game.
we have talked about the game. Can I throw something out about the blackout?
I'm being funny. Yes.
Can I give an idea?
Yeah.
Black balloons.
I see what you did there. Balloons.
Didn't you
all
float
black.
the idea of black end zones?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Is
want
that happening?
I don't
Come
I-
on,
I
come
can-
on.
I can figure it out.
No, because isn't that
Come on.
field turf already
on.
I
done?
can
They
figure
don't
it.
paint it.
Yeah,
I-
because
so that
they-
would
Hey,
involve.
if they weren't going to change the color of the end zone after the Hunter play against Michigan, I don't know that they would go black.
I can
Black
check.
balloons.
I can ask.
Ooh,
Black balloons would be dope.
I-
It's very
A black
That's
dog,
very doable.
black flag.
It's very easy. You go ahead and you just give everybody black balloons, and when Nebraska scores their
Ooh.
first touchdown, it goes up, and you
and they would
celebrate.
play the Goo Goo Dolls song.
Sure,
It's a good song.
Iris.
No, Black Balloon.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's-
Iris
that's one
wouldn't
of their-
really.
that's one of
Oh,
their
I
songs,
didn't know
yes.
that.
Iris after
Yeah.
a touchdown just wouldn't. yeah.
Well, you don't think it'd get the people going?
This is where she died in
Well,
the movie.
The opening line is "Baby's black balloon makes her fly." I don't know that would.
But you're on. Come on, your idea guy. You love. I mean, you've given out some incredible ideas.
Yeah, I
when
don't
it comes
know.
To
I
stadium
think-
entertainment.
I think they bought the balloons in bulk
Okay.
of red.
Okay.
They haven't announced
Let's
they have. I think over the next 2 days they have.
I like what
they
you're
ha-
thinking.
You know, they have some secrets
Yeah.
that they're going to slowly unveil.
Okay.
I also
Pearl
so,
Jam
so
playing
good
black.
on Nebraska. Nebraska's definitely leaned into the all black, and once you go black, you can never go back.
Yeah.
because they're going to probably do this yearly instead of, hey, I kind of like the red on red. Why don't you guys go red on red? Do you think that they have gone more in on this wearing black because of the partnership with Adidas?
No, maybe. Well, I don't think
It
that's out of
plays
the
a
question. I
part,
think that
but-
definitely could be in play. I think it's a recruit thing. I like when Matt Rule talks about it's like recruits want to wear the black jerseys, and
It
like
is
we have to
slimming.
tell them they have to be commits if they're going to wear the black jerseys, and we're going to wear black once a year. Like we're going to make sure we do it. To me, that I think it's a recruit thing. It could be it definitely could be as well. I mean, it'll be interesting to see like the relationship between Nebraska football and Adidas and how that evolves over the next couple of years, considering the fact that Adidas is sponsoring some of their best athletes and their contract is supposed to come up pretty soon. And Adidas has gone off and signed other like teams. Like, I think that could be if Nebraska wants to stick with Adidas, I definitely would be doing things that caters to them and things that they want to do.
Because I mean, Nebraska gets to pick the game. Apparently, I wonder if Adidas
Oh.
said there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on this USC
Sure.
game. We would highly encourage wearing
Yeah.
all black instead of
Yeah.
that Akron game.
Yeah.
But maybe it's a good sign with their partnership.
Well-
But it good again, regardless, good on the athletic department for going all in, because you can have ideas that start with the groundswell of No Sit Sunday, and the athletic department doesn't get behind it because it's not their idea.
Mhm.
That you have to build,
Sure.
and that one was pulled off. But there's others. There's been tries at blackouts before that have never gone anywhere because the athletic department doesn't get behind it. But they've gotten behind this, so I think it will be pulled off really well. And then we can all say at 6:30, we've done our job. Now do your job.
No, it's because that one guy in section 32 is wearing red, and that's why Nebraska isn't going to be able to push the ball down the field. Screw that guy. Screw you. You should be shamed.
Have fun on Big Red Overreaction with that phone call.
Oh, my
and
God.
Prepare yourself now on how you're going to handle it.
Big Red Overreaction has the potential to be an all-timer.
Yeah, it'll be late at night.
It's going to be very late.
People be tailgating. It's
We
the weather's
encourage
going
you
to be. By the way, the weather's
in the
going to be fine.
defense.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's not going to be like detrimental to USC. It's gonna be in the 40s.
They
Now-
run
now,
around.
It
They warm
was
up.
very warm at opening pitch last night at Dodger Stadium, but it's not. There's no elements falling out of the sky.
Mhm.
Maybe an asteroid.
Maybe.
People are all out on Nebraska ball, Mike. I
That's why
don't
you
know if
should
I can
run.
save him here. Corey says enough of being nice to Nebraska ball, Mike. He's canceled. Good Lord, get some sleep, Mike. You clown.
Jeez.
But he came
Mike,
in
come back
studio.
on the
he's-
show, but we're not going to talk
wonderful.
about that anymore. I think the weather will just be fine
Mhm.
and be cold.
Well,
You're not
I-
used to it, but it's not. I don't think the wind.
No win.
Ken Shimmick, is the wind going to be a factor? It's just going to be. It's going to be like 44 at kickoff. It'll be 41 when the light show
Mm-hmm.
goes on and they fire up the fire and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, the weather won't be a deal.
I've given a little bit of flack to Dylan toward some of his press conferences and maybe some of the things that he says and how he walks up to the podium.
Yeah.
I really liked it. Somebody asked him about USC and the weather. I loved his answer. He goes, they're gonna be here. They're gonna show up. Like they're gonna play football. Like it doesn't matter. Like we are not counting on
Went on a limb.
McCree is gonna be a little bit cold. Ooh, Walker Lyons, the ball's gonna tip off of his fingers because he's never been in this cold before. I like that he was like, nah, bro, like we're getting ready for USC.
You know what Nebraska should do is put heaters on USC sidelines. Mess
Why?
with them. Mess with their head.
They probably
Why?
already
They would
are.
like that.
If there were heaters on Nebraska sidelines for this game, would you be like, come on, guys, you're a Midwestern team.
Yeah,
you
I
don't
would.
need heaters in
I
50
would.
degree weather.
But
I
sometimes
would-
it helps
But
your
they have
back.
different benches
Hurts.
now that are covered. I don't think they're heated. I'm talking about like not the heated benches, but like the big,
Right.
The big heater,
Mhm.
as a fan, or I don't know what you call it. You know what, the blowers.
Those are
Yes,
dangerous.
yes, I know
Yeah,
what you're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah.
I like it. No, I like it when it's 95 degree weather and they have those industrial fans that are spitting out the mist. I was like, God, I would love to get in
Yeah.
front of that right now.
It's
When
gonna,
you're-
you know what? It's November 1. It's Big Ten football. It's Big Ten football weather.
It's
It's
Nebraska.
two. I can't say it's two helmet games because one helmet doesn't look like it
Okay,
normally
but
does.
But it still has the N in the stripe. It still is a helmet. A helmet game is a saying to represent two blue blood programs. It doesn't necessarily have to do with the helmets, the literal helmet.
Jake, at the ticket, I'm kind of with you because I
No,
like,
you're not.
I'm not opposed to the all black because it's kind of bland. I wish they would have done when they did the black jerseys
Some
before,
red
like a little bit of
accents.
red, a little
Yeah.
bit red in there. But it's it's kind of bland, but it's fine. It's not. I'm not going to get rustled about it.
Mhm.
I just I think Nebraska has one of the best looking uniforms,
I
and
know.
that helmet,
Mhm.
which is too white. I wish they would. And that
Yeah, I
helmet's
forgot you
so
said
the
that.
design of the helmets have changed, but if you go back in the day,
Would it be? Was
back
it like,
in my day in the 90s,
We
was
were
it more
off-white.
cream?
so it was more cream.
Yeah.
Oh,
It wasn't as pearly white
okay.
as it is now, but the design of the helmet has changed, so I think that's also changed it.
Yeah, the safety has taken a notch up since then.
Kent says Northwestern had the heated benches on.
Did they?
Yeah, so the benches in college football are
What's wrong with
different
our
now.
kids? It's 55.
They've got like coverage over it.
Yeah.
So maybe they are heated. I don't know.
Well, Northwestern also, like, I don't know if they really practice outside because they are in like one of the nicest facilities in the country, and it's been one of the nicest facilities in the country for years now. Have you been to that on the lakefront practice facility?
I have not. I'm saving all of that for our trip to Evanston next year.
Excited for
There's
that.
a lot of stuff between now and then.
Mhm.
So, but I'm glad that you're excited
What do
because
you
I will
mean?
get excited. That's a long time. That's a year.
Yeah, you
What?
still got the holidays.
I just want to make it to 10 o'clock this morning.
Mhm.
You're already fast forwarding to our trip back
But-
home
but
to
it's-
watch Colorado Northwestern.
because I haven't been home in forever, and now when I think about going home, I'm like, I get little
You know what?
excited.
Where's my I was going to say they have FaceTime. You could check back at
No,
home.
I know, but it's
Yeah.
like there's a difference
We
between
should do it on
like,
air.
talking to mom and then being able to walk into Ma O'Brien's at 8 o'clock. On
I'm really,
Friday.
you know what? I'm surprised. Jimmy brought this up a while ago. I'm surprised your mom hasn't moved here.
I'd be okay with that.
She's
That's been a discussion,
She'd
right?
be the show mom.
she can't do it because she's she works in Chicago public teaching, so that's
We have
that's
schools
unable
here.
for
We
her
have
to do it.
Omaha Public Schools.
We have kids. Lots of
Honestly,
kids.
It would
Oh,
be
I just
more
had
my
one.
dad. My dad and I are very, very
Yeah.
close, and he works remotely. And he actually did bring up. He's like, "What if I came to Omaha for a week and I worked from
Oh.
like
Hell
worked in
yes,
Take
let's
care
do
of
it.
you. Take you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told him, I go, I'm fine. I'll come back to you.
Come on.
Okay.
I was okay with that.
All right. Ari Wasserman's going to join us in the next hour. Steve Sipple stops by at 9:15 with his thoughts on Nebraska and USC. Dylan Raiola. We do have to talk about him. Will Nebraska allow him to take chances? No, you didn't even hesitate.
They don't need to.
The handcuffs are on 15.
But when the handcuffs are on, he plays some of his best football.
Okay. All right. Will USC force him to take chances? And how much is the gap between their quarterback, Mr. Maeva, and Nebraska's quarterback? And shouldn't Dylan have been Maeva where Maeva is right now?
Low key. That was a
Well,
potential. That was something that can happen. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little distracted now. I'm just thinking about Gary Sharp at Howard Street Inn at 10 o'clock.
thinking about my room at the Holiday Inn that you promised.
Well, no, I'll sleep on the couch. You can
Isn't-
sleep.
what
you
about
can
that
sleep in my
diner?
childhood room. Sanders. Oh my God. Tanya, get the booth open. And Alejandro, get that Pepsi going. I miss Alex.
Good morning to all the apple cider donut makers out there this morning. I know who you are. Thank you. We'll be back with more of Gary and Matt after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, if you missed in the first hour, Nebraska Ball Mike came in strong. Microphone is stiff. We need some lube for this to unstiff it.
Lube is your friend.
Or WD-40. That's
It's
your friend.
it's new, so you have to work it in. You have to give it a tug here and then, like that.
Well, it also is the
But it's-
screen is kind of.
Yeah, so
It's staying
very-
upright though. What are you?
very
Which is a
complicated.
wonderful-
Very, very
Hey, don't
complicated.
pull a McMaster and start moving the microphone everywhere and bucking the crap out of Josh Odds.
Couple of things here. But if you missed in the first hour, Nebraska Ball Mike came in, explained why we're still here this morning.
Double down, if you will.
Mike explained it. Whoa. So I'm on Nebraska's football schedule right now.
Did they
Have you
add
been on
someone?
there recently?
Um,
The ends are black on their
oh
schedule.
yeah, I mentioned that yesterday
Did
because
you?
when I was going through the Nebraska
Oh.
wrestling,
See, on Saturday.
they
Okay.
changed. That's
They're
what they've
wearing
gone
black.
all in on everything.
That's awesome.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for not listening to you. I'm sorry, Gary. I just was shocked. I was like, what is going on?
no, they've changed everything. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you looked at all their social media,
Yeah.
good on again. They've gone all in.
This
It's on you, fans.
is like when I went to that Sesame Street concert and Oscar the Grouch popped out of his trash can. And
Oh,
he
exactly.
was white and he wasn't green. It was a whole like Elmo's coloring book
Were you in
thing.
the
and
South?
Somebody
Oh.
was erasing the
Oh.
colors from the coloring book, and like it was one. No, I'm going to tell you right now.
Were
we're
you
not
in
a
the
hor-
South?
No,
What has to do with?
I don't know. They changed Oscar there. Everybody
no.
does things
He popped
regionally.
out of the trash. Stop it, Jimmy. He popped out of the trash can,
What?
and it was incredibly scary for
Nebraska Ball Mike,
2-year-old
call back in.
Matt McMaster to see it. That's why I haven't watched any horror movies in my life, because Oscar the Grouch scared the jeebies out of me. I've never seen one horror movie.
I think I need a vacation.
Why do you need a Why is that such a big deal? I like what I like.
Was he dressed? Was he naked? Was he like the
He's
duck?
always-
You know, the
Oscar-
new trend in college football is for all of
Does
us
he wear
dudes to
clothes?
be shirtless.
They're all naked.
The
think-
the duck at the Wisconsin game was naked.
He was.
He was in the stands.
Yeah.
That's
He was
kinda
white.
weird. Don't look at me. Look at Jimmy when you say that.
I don't know. Just trying to follow along here.
What?
Because he brought up he being white.
Well, Oscar's green.
Oscar was white in that.
Was Jimmy not white?
No, I wasn't saying
Wow.
that at all.
Nebraska Ball Mike, please call back in.
That's not true.
Fremont Fred says I'm still in shock after I spent last night preparing to have my night ruined by a giant hemorrhoid,
Mhm.
and yet nothing happened. Nebraska Ball Mike let me down.
Asteroid, not hemorrhoid.
That's not what Fred said, though. I'm not disagreeing with Fred.
Aren't we all just waiting for that to happen?
I'm not. I'm
Okay.
not. I just want to make it till 10. Okay.
Good morning, George Brett.
There is yesterday. So if you watch the LSU governor
Oh,
had politicians involved in sports always ends well. And sports sports has politics in it. Everybody says stick to sports. Sports is political. Okay. Sports is political.
yeah.
It is political. And you get rants that there's some typical political stuff where there's some incorrect things that were mentioned. But the LSU governor was on a heater yesterday. And all I could think is I was listening to this and he was unhinged. And people are like, wow, this is a circus. This is why college football is so great. It also reminded me, because of what we do around here, whether it be this radio station, whether it be our fan base, whether it be our politics that are involved in Nebraska football, because there are. Hell, the governor is a former Nebraska football player, is we are more aligned around here to that
Oh,
than
God.
aligned to the Northwestern of the Big Ten.
Without a doubt.
Like yesterday just reiterated to me that Nebraska and the way we have so much passion for football and passion for a program, and we live and die, and it's the only thing in the state. We are more aligned with the SEC than you could ever imagine. And I'm like, wow, what if Pillen did that here?
well,
People would lose. We would have big pill overreaction.
Yes, we would. People would say, there would be a part of people who said, hell yeah, I love my governor standing up for my football program. And then you would have the people who, are like, well, guys, we got to be careful here. We gotta be careful. Now, I don't think anytime soon you'll see JB Pritzker saying, we got to make sure we get this right
No.
with the Cats.
Because it means more here.
It
It means
does.
more in Louisiana. And it means more if you don't have dysfunction between the athletic director, the head coach, the president, who they are about to name a new one. Sounds like the athletic director. I mean, the president of the United States, who is, I believe, still over in Asia, has a better chance of picking the LSU head football coach. Congratulations, Coach Tuberville, than the current athletic director. It reminds you,
Coach Tuberville.
I think if President Trump, well, it'd either be him or Saban.
Sure.
If President Trump got to a point, because the governor of Louisiana said he's better suited to pick the coach than the current athletic director, who he had some incorrect things talking about buyouts and stuff.
Oh God,
Yeah.
yeah. And
but,
like
but when
and
when you're a politician and you're on a rant, facts don't matter.
Well-
Only on the radio do facts matter.
the collusion of agents was a wild segue.
And people share an age that was, but
That literally.
But you know what? He
can't
was
do
on a
that.
heater and you went, oh my gosh. But it shows you, again, more aligned with that part of the country than over where you're from in the Big Ten is the dysfunction that goes on in athletic departments. And everybody says, well, I would like to have alignment. Like we get alignment around here and we're like, I don't know if I'm comfortable with this. I like when the chancellor is backstabbing the football coach and the athletic director is shut out from the academic side. I think I like that a lot better at Nebraska instead of our current setup where there is more alignment than there's been in a while. But it shows you like dysfunction is real. And then you can point to, how come you guys aren't winning? Well, have you seen the governor, the president, the chancellor, the athletic director, the head football coach? All right. Nobody is on the same page.
Hey, is LSU America's team now? If Donald Trump ends up picking the head coach of LSU, the
Careful.
sitting president of the United
Stick to
States,
sports.
no, I'm saying,
Stick to
wouldn't they be
sports.
America's team?
I don't know.
Jeff Landry, the governor of Louisiana, sounds like if the little wee guy had more confidence. We literally gotta make sure that this guy doesn't pick the next head coach of Louisiana.
It's
We literally have to make sure.
it's a great accent. Kobe GBR on the chat room says a big pill overreaction would be
It would do
legendary.
numbers. Isn't big pill overreaction? Doesn't that happen?
It's not a
on
pharmaceutical show.
Doesn't that happen in Lincoln? Don't they have a governor show every month? Isn't that what
They do.
What that is?
It's currently happening in McCook.
Oh, okay. I don't know what's going on with Cook.
He spins records.
Who?
The governor. Your boss here, he was telling me that he goes over to the your former employer.
Really?
Mhm.
And like DJs?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And it's showing everything. Because he produces it.
Good for Jim.
Mhm.
Good for Governor Pillen.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes. He's the governor.
Governor
Jim and
Pillen.
Cleat,
I've never
two
met.
former Nebraska football
I've
players.
Saw a commercial of Cleat
shook,
last
I've
night.
shook Jim's hand. And then I was like, I'm going to go in my dungeon and start cutting up these practice reports.
Yeah, I don't know if the Gov goes to football practice, but he's at every game. Some Michigan game. He was in his cowboy boots and his jeans.
Good for
Yeah.
him.
Okay, so on a different note,
Okay.
again, that if that happened here,
It'd be
people
awesome.
would think we're crazy, but there'd be part of you, admit it, you'd be like, that makes sense. We love our football. Okay, we want to win. We want to win in football here.
Honestly, I think now if
It should have
Nebraska-
happened.
If Nebraska were to go
Dave
through,
Heineman could have gone on a rant like that back in the day.
if Nebraska were to go through the instability that LSU were to go through, there actually might now be people calling for, what does the governor have to say? You saw LSU, their governor got involved. They're winning games now. What does Jim have to say? Governor Pillen.
Big pill overreaction. That should be
that is a great. That
that
should
is-
what the
might
governor
have
show should
something.
be called.
no, it should be
that.
after the governor comes on.
Just have Jack Mitchell log his 18th hour of radio in a single day.
Is he still doing a lot of radio?
I think
thought he was
is.
doing like an hour or two in the mornings.
No, he does 3 hours in the mornings, and I think he's still doing the afternoon show, which is wild.
So there's a discussion about as these two teams get ready to play, Nebraska and USC, two blue bloods. I'll fight anybody that says they're not blue bloods. You might be trending the wrong way, but you are still a blue blood.
Facts.
Culture versus talent has been a discussion this week.
Yeah,
There is some dudes that play for USC. There are some dudes that Mel Kiper likes a lot. So in the NFL draft, in your top 10 for Mel Kiper,
Mhm.
Mekhi Lemon is 10th overall
Yeah.
in a draft pick. He also has Lane as the 9th best wide receiver. He has McCree as the 4th best tight end. He has Gentry as the 9th best off-the-ball linebacker. And he has Ramsey as the 5th best safety.
okay.
He doesn't have anybody from Nebraska there.
Yeah, I figured.
But Nebraska, and there should never be a moment. This would be on a USC thing. There should never be a moment that USC has less talent than Nebraska. Just there should not.
Oh,
They might be
God, no.
similar, but there should never be a moment where USC has less talent than Nebraska. And if that's the case, then the guy that is at USC doesn't have a job. They could be the same,
Yeah,
but never Nebraska having more talent from the Kuipers and the McShays of the world. But the culture versus talent conversation is quite interesting this week because at some point there does become the Jimmies and the Joes win football
Yes.
games. And yeah, Nebraska might have a nice little culture they have going and it can carry you so far. But there is a point where you
Well-
just don't have enough Jimmies and Joes, and they have enough Jimmies and Joes that make plays. The fourth quarter, are you a fourth quarter is all about culture in a close game or all about talent?
I mean, in the fourth quarter, I think it's. Oh God, that's a great question.
Thank you.
I actually think it's more.
You're gonna vend me another $25?
No, I think it's.
By the way,
actually,
you owe Cody a Blur tailgate pass.
No, I
He
don't.
just emailed me. Oh, I emailed us both.
I don't. I think it's more about culture.
Okay.
Because if you're in a tight fourth quarter,
Mm-hmm.
the talent has already like the cream has rise to the top of the crop, right? Like you're there,
Yeah.
right? The talent has already figured itself out. You have proven, hey, we can compete on the similar level as this team. If you're in the fourth quarter and it's a blowout, then you figured out, hey, clearly the culture didn't matter. The talent was more
Mhm.
there. So when you get to the fourth and it's a close game, I'm putting more on the team that has a better culture and has a better mindset and that has been there and done that before than I am. Now, in the first quarter, it's talent. First quarter is
Mm.
talent. Second quarter is talent. Like, you got to make sure that you don't get down a lot early.
Here's another thing that has to change from the Nebraska perspective. So the Athletic this morning has the top 15 offensive lines in contention for the Joe Moore Award.
Yeah.
Jimmy, before you ask, Nebraska's not on that list. I just want to get ahead of the
I don't
game
think
here.
anybody was going to be
Before anybody asks,
picking the big
Nebraska is not on the list of the
I was
top 15
wondering.
offensive lines
You read
in the
my mind.
Athletic. Not to pile on, but don't watch any David Sanders film.
I
Uh,
bet he's incredible.
The big
Yeah.
man's doing some work at
Yeah.
Tennessee.
Jeez.
Okay. The
He's a
big
freshman.
the big
too.
man with a big checkbook in Nebraska needs to start doing some so you get more David Sanders. But this
Or
is where
Bakers.
this is where it's kind of interesting. And remember, USC next year has the #1 recruiting class with 35 commitments. And all those guys that are headed off to the NFL that are going to be day one or day tours
Mhm.
is they subtly, and they've had to do some shuffling because of injuries. And we still are unsure of some guys that may or may not return for Saturday night on USC's offensive line.
Yeah.
The Athletic has USC's offensive line in the top 15. They have been able to
Yeah.
run the ball
They've run the ball really
successfully.
well.
I got a PFF stat for you. Ready?
Oh, I love this.
They have accomplished 68.3% of their possible yards this year.
Nice. Available
thank you,
yards,
thank you.
baby.
Thank you. Thank you.
I told
But-
you I'd get you on the available
but-
yards train.
But
never seen
what
it
does
as
that
healthy.
say? That USC has found a way to have according to the Athletic, top 15 offensive line in a conference where
yeah.
6 of those 15 schools are from the Big Ten. Not a shock.
Sure.
The
Sure.
conference is built on the line of scrimmage, and especially in the offensive line. I think subtly, that's okay, Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
But then I go, you're 5-2. I mean,
Well,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
the D line, they haven't done
Hmm.
the same on the D line. They've been able, and that's the thing. They've had a formula on the D line, and you alluded to it dating back to the Pete Carroll years. They've had a formula on that D line that has worked for them in the Pac-12 that I don't think works for them in the Big Ten. And so I think that's what they're battling through. But if you were paying attention to recruiting
Yeah.
over the last couple of years, there were plenty of people saying, hey, they're getting some big boys over there. Like they know that they're going out and they're addressing the fact that they got to be stronger up front. And so for them to, the fact that they're running like that Illinois game that I was talking about that I watched,
Yeah.
King Miller had one catch. He had one target. Now he's a guy, he's their fourth string running back, and he's having a really, really good season because
Yeah,
he's
he's a-
running behind.
he's a walk-on.
Yeah.
He's a walk-on
He-
redshirt freshman
but-
who got inserted because of the injury and then did work against Michigan for a 158, 8.8 a carry.
Garrett, this is what we talked about, though, where it's hard for a running back to make an offensive line look like a Joe Moore Award winner, but it's easy for a Joe Moore Award winning offensive line to make a running back look like a Heisman Trophy winner. Like that's
Yeah.
just how it works. And so they've went and they've invested and they've developed, and frankly, they've done it at a better rate than Nebraska has. But let's go back a little bit more. You talk about USC should never have less talent than Nebraska. You go to modern day football. Modern day football is one of the best high school teams in the country and one of the best high school teams in California. They have 3 guys, 3 wide receivers on modern day football that are committed to Power 5 teams. They have 2 guys committed to Ohio State and 1 guy committed to Georgia. They have, like, that's the talent that you're working with in California, where you have multiple teams who don't just have one Ohio State wide receiver. They have multiple Ohio State wide receivers, and they have Alabama quarterbacks, and they have Georgia offensive linemen and Oregon defensive ends. Like, that is the crop of talent that they just literally get to go in their backyard and pick off.
But you know what? I think in today's college football, because I think the head coach has less influence. He's important, but he has less influence. I think if you can, where are schools winning right now? Bloomington, Indiana.
Sure. Are you saying less?
Eugene, Oregon.
Are you saying that money is taken away?
It used
from
to be.
coaching
It used to be.
influence?
You used to be able to use an excuse of, "Hey, I live at Firethorn in Lincoln."
Yeah.
And when I open my door, I mean, if I was at Firethorn in Southern California and I opened the door, man, my paper boy would be a 5-star quarterback.
Sure.
In Lincoln, I don't see any of those. I think the location in recruiting is not as big as it used to be
No.
because money is everything. Like, and here's, maybe this is a good thing. You could spin it however you want when you look at the local program. Good or bad thing is because of money and NIL, college basketball, college football, we're starting to get parity because things are getting spread out. Look at yesterday. Really, really good 4-star quarterback. Where would you think he would go as a really, really good 4-star quarterback?
Ohio State.
He's going to Houston.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
location, not as important, but still important.
Sure.
But money and the access to money and being able to win those kind of battles is kind of bringing the top and the middle a little bit closer together. There's still going to be, the best are still going to be the best because they're
Yeah.
not going to take a step back. But you're seeing when a 4-star could go to Houston, a 4-star quarterback that 5 years ago you go, what are you lost? You're not going to the Texans. Okay, you just committed to the Cougs. It's good for college football,
Yeah.
but it also, if you're not making strides
Yeah.
and you're not in a hotbed, people are going to go, whoa, what's the
Yeah.
issue there? And then your head coach says, you know what? We need a commitment. We need more of a commitment to NIL so we can go out and get the David Sanders so we don't lose to
Sure.
Tennessee because they spent a little bit more when we know if we would have gotten a David Sanders,
Yeah.
he'd be here as a freshman playing tackle. Now,
Yeah.
they
You're totally
got
right.
a big boy coming next year that
Mhm.
I think it's almost imperative that Mpuma is on the field as a true freshman at tackle.
Yeah. Attack.
Yes. I mean,
Not like-
Sanders is on the field as
Yes,
a true
tackle.
freshman at tackle.
You're totally right in terms of money has taken away from pedigree and tradition. I wonder though, if we kind of get into this pattern of more and more kids are looking around and saying, hey, I committed for money, but that wasn't the best decision. And I don't want to be the guy that goes to 2 or 3 different programs. If maybe coaching and pedigree and tradition maybe is a bigger impact down the line. But for right now, it's all money.
Yeah.
It's all money. And it's taken away from the
Well, and
other
also kids-
traditional recruiting
kids-
aspects. But I wonder if there's going to be it comes back.
Kids are exposed to more programs nowadays.
Sure.
Everybody's on TV. Everybody is on TV. So I can see you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. that's a
Instead
good
of
point.
there's just a handful of schools that every week are on TV.
Mhm.
Everybody is on TV. All right, we'll step aside. Ari Wasserman from On3 coming up in about an hour. Steve Sipple, Sipple works for On3.
Yeah, he does.
He'll join us coming up at 9:15. And then Brian Edwards to win you some money this weekend. Tonight we have college football. Tulane,
My Roadrunners.
maybe your future LSU head coach, is
Oh.
at UTSA. And also we get an NFL game between a 2-5 team and a 2-6 team, where the 2-5 team is a favorite now in their division, and they're a 7.5-point favorite tonight to put Mike McDaniel out of business. That's the Ravens and the Dolphins.
Haven't we
Game you'll
been,
hear here on the Zone.
we've been waiting for weeks for Mike McDaniel to get put out of business.
Yeah. You know what? Sometimes you can't. Oh, wait a minute. That's the NFL. They're showing the NFL. How would you like to be the sign language guy with that unhinged press conference yesterday about LSU football and Brian Kelly and Scott Woodard?
Almost as good as the sign language guy at Adam Sandler.
Or during COVID, the sign language person for Governor Ricketts.
That'd be
That lady was awesome. She is. I think she's also the sign language person for the national anthem at Memorial Stadium. On the field. Yep. All right, we're off and running. You got the lineup for the rest of the show. It's brought to you by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard, who they'll be calling fouls, intentional or not, in about 4 days. College basketball will be here. We're back with more of Gary Matt after this on 1620 The Zone. Your official Nebraska wrestling station. Highest preseason ranking ever, number 2. Was announced yesterday. Good luck to Mark Manning and the boys. Welcome back in, Gary and Matt. 1620 The Zone with Jimmy here as well. Ari Wasserman coming up in the next hour. Steve Sipple stops by in the last hour. Brian Edwards as well. We're glad that all of you have stopped by. So what do I tell Cody here? Cody wants to know if he gets his Blur tailgate passes.
Why would he get a Blur tailgate pass?
Why not?
So he asked about your keys. He said he also gave you a compliment. He said, I'm glad to see the keys have been kept in check this week.
I'm trying to grow up.
Well, that's
Grow up by honoring
reassuring
Cody's
for our
wishes.
listeners and your co-hosts.
I'm trying. I'm doing my best. We've had a good week. Kept the keys in the same spot.
Is it Monday, Jimmy?
Pick them up.
Yeah,
Is it
I
Monday?
lose track.
We're now on. We're 2 days. We got 2 days of
What do you
good
mean?
stuff.
What do you mean? What was Monday?
You lost your wallet.
Yeah.
Oh, Jimmy did have to let me into the building.
Oh.
Yes.
So I don't know, Cody. I don't have the Blur tailgate passes. That would be something you'd have to discuss with Matt.
Matt
No,
at
you're not- this was
1620thezone.com.
not- this was-
MATT.
This was not a contest of like expose Matt and you get free stuff.
Expose. He's trying to help.
Wasn't trying.
He wants to meet John and Michael and Nick.
That's true.
Hmm.
So Cody, give Matt a phone call. 847.
No, stop. You don't even know. You only know that it's an 847 number. You don't know any other numbers after that.
There's a 2.
What is wrong with you?
You asked me a question. I'm just answering.
This is like Wheel of
Would you
Fortune.
like me to go?
Do another one. What's another number in my? Let's do this. What's another? This would be impressive because I only know like 5 numbers.
In your
In my
own
life.
number?
No, your number.
No, no. I know my number.
Okay.
Oh.
You
But
want
I'm-
me to give you your phone number?
No. What? Okay, there's a 2, and then what's the next one?
7.
What is wrong? Why do you?
You
know
are
my-
asking me,
why
and
do
I'm
you- no, no, no,
answering
no, no,
because
no,
I know
no,
what
no,
your
no.
phone number is.
No.
Yeah.
I'm asking you. Like I only know my mom's number, my dad's number. I don't even know my sister or my brother's number. I know my grandmother's number. I don't like, and my phone, my landline.
Not
That's
Nora?
it. Not
No,
Aunt Nora. No, Nora. Also, too.
Good morning,
Nora's
Nora.
the name of my ex-girlfriend. So that's just weird. That's just,
Whoa.
that was a weird moment there. Why do you know my
Sigmund
number
Freud
by heart?
moment here.
I don't even know. You're
Because
you're
I think
402.
before I put your name in my phone, you were just a number.
How long was I just a number in your phone?
I think this is when we first met, like
Okay.
way back before.
Way
yeah,
back?
Yeah,
All
we were
right.
still in school.
If I was like a number in your phone, like all the way up until like March, I would have been heavily offended.
Yeah. No, I changed it.
Am I just Matt or am I Matt McMaster?
You're Matt
or am I-
McMaster.
okay.
847-275.
You know, there's
Deny.
You
Your reaction
challenged
said-
me.
yeah.
Now after that, I think I'm lost.
I'm first off. That
Are you
was-
angry or are you blown away that I know
that-
your
okay,
number?
So
I don't.
now
I don't.
that-
Now, to be
that-
fair, I don't know your last
now
4
that
digits.
you've revealed the 6th digit, I didn't ask you to reveal the 6th digit.
You
so
just kept
that's a
going.
little
Another
ridiculous.
one. Another one. Another one.
I'm just shocked that you know it. Don't say anything else. All right. Don't give up my number. Now here's the thing though. I am there's nothing more humbling than when you find out that your contact name and one of your friends' name is not actually your first and last name. That they have like a derogatory nickname for you or something like, mean or whatever. That
Well,
sucks.
I have a friend who very few people, unless they're his family, are in his phone as their real name. They all have nicknames.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I have one guy who's in my phone as dumb blank. What's up, Kevin?
I have a couple that I don't have their name, but they text,
Oh,
and I can't figure out who it is.
no, I have.
and I don't
I
wanna
bit the bullet.
ask.
I bit the bullet. I had to bit the
Yeah.
bullet the other week and be like, I'm so sorry. I don't know who you are. And it's somebody, Gary,
Yeah.
somebody who we text often enough where it's
Yeah.
embarrassing that I don't have their number.
All right. A couple of teams of college football have let us down in what would be a great week 10. We'll put them under the microscope. Plus, we'll talk about a player draft in Lincoln and my appreciation for 2 toters.
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 What's a toter?
You're going to find out what a toter is. You're not a big fan of the toter?
I don't know what a toter
You like
is.
toters?
I don't know what a toter
You
is.
like toters?
I know that it's a frog strangler. That's the only thing that I can.
It's Gary and Matt with Jimmy halfway through. It's halftime. Band is on the field. Fight on or hail varsity. Go. Poll question. Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. All right, later this morning, Matt Rule, his weekly Thursday before the game presser.
Think anybody asked him?
Yes. Why would you not? And then
I
people
mean,
understand
sorry.
that, hey, to play the game, you got to pay the game. And it's called stability. And you know what? People have agents for a reason. They have leverage. And that's how the business works. If you're upset about it, stop following the business. But I'd not think I'd wake up and you'd have a Will Compton versus Josh Peterson battle.
I don't think they're
How many
versing
games?
each other.
Okay.
That'd be a good series.
Matt Rule is in the middle, and
Ooh.
Will is pulling the left arm, and Josh is pulling the right arm.
Clearly.
Yeah. It's like a stretch man.
Well, good thing Matt Rule's been working out a lot because now he's strong enough to uphold the force of, a very,
Yeah.
very strong man and a marathoner pulling him.
As I said to begin the show, and Josh on HuskerMax.com, very well written. Okay, put it out there. Something that's inevitable. Okay. Well, hey, it was
written.
I because I'm resetting here because I already made the statement. I don't have enough energy for this, and it's a piece of paper to me.
It's gonna
Okay?
happen.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's gonna happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna happen. It's fine.
The
Not a big
the reaction though from Penn State fans compared to Nebraska fans is quite comical. Penn State fans are like, wait till you get the Temple head coach,
Really? I don't think.
or you get Eli Drinkwitz.
Okay, so that makes more sense.
Oh, okay, you got a little fired up there at
Well,
Eli.
you have to. First off, I like Eli. I like what Eli's done. Okay. I also think I like your option with Mike Elko, but things might now be a little bit different if LSU swings and miss on Kiffin and Saban, why would you not call Elko?
Not the Temple coach. My mistake.
The Syracuse coach?
Bob Chesney.
Oh, the JMU coach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Have you seen what he has done since he took over for Signetti?
He's 15-5.
16-5 now.
16-5.
Please pay attention to midweek college football.
My
Bobcats
Screw
lost last
you.
night.
16-5. They're 7-1 this year. They were 9-4 last year with by the way, what a bowl. The Boca Raton Bowl.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's lovely.
I'd love to play in the Boca
You
Raton
know, you can
Bowl.
see the Atlantic Ocean from the top. Howard Schnellenberger built that stadium.
Mhm.
Okay.
How do
So
you-
that's where Pops lives.
Okay.
Uh,
How you know the people who construct certain things?
well,
Howard Schnellenberger's a big
Schnellenberger,
deal.
Yeah.
No,
so
I know, but
football coach at FAU and then athletic director.
I know. But but never mind.
Okay.
It's just fun. It's just you just name drop somebody.
so-
it's just it's enjoyable.
Rules a lot of different places today. If you see him out in the grocery store or whatever, ask him.
I don't.
I'm sure that's-
don't ask him.
He would like to be talked to. He'd like to talk about this than the USC Nebraska game. You know what I would like to talk about? When we looked at the schedule way back at the beginning of the year, we probably looked at week 10 and said, man, this is going to be the mover and shaker of college football. And we may get it because there are 10 ranked teams that are playing on the road at unranked teams, including Fight On, which will be in Lincoln on Saturday night. But look at like 3 particular games that are
Okay.
not getting the run that you thought they would get back in February.
Okay, so Penn State, Ohio State.
Yes.
Then it would be Miami SMU.
No.
Come on, SMU coming off of an ACC title and that and
It's only the second time that Miami's left the state of Florida.
Miami, Georgia, Florida.
Georgia, Florida, once again, is kind of under the radar. But
Okay.
Florida is weird enough
Were you
that
ready?
they could mess with Georgia not being perfect.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
That game's got a lot of emotion. The fellas on each side know each other. But that game, that's a Florida problem.
Yeah.
That game is supposed to be mammoth. Now,
Yeah.
people still go to the game, and it's an RV capital there in southern Georgia that is actually in the Florida side of the border. But it hasn't been the level in the past. They
God,
still
no.
hate each other, and there's
Yeah.
late shots, and there's trash talking. But in terms of having national significance, and then quite frankly, Nebraska USC, which is odd to me because it's a playoff
Yeah.
elimination game in Lincoln. It's 5-2 USC, 6-2 Nebraska. But at the same time, and here we go with TV ratings when someone's going to have to stop me on the street and say, hey, Gary, this is when we started to care about sports TV ratings
Mhm.
because there was some shift. Maybe COVID did this to us where we cared about the TV ratings. What draws better on Saturday night? 2 name programs,
Yeah.
USC, Nebraska, or another playoff elimination game, Oklahoma, Tennessee on ABC.
I think probably Oklahoma, Tennessee. I just think that the SEC is on fire in terms of interest. And look, whether or not it's correct, whether or not it's right, they have just this propaganda machine that has been able to prop up some of these teams and just allow and make you look at the positive swing of things as opposed to the negative swing of things.
Mhm.
And what I mean by that is Nebraska loses to Michigan, and you're like, oh, they got exposed. And USC loses to
Illinois.
USC loses to Illinois, and they lose to Notre Dame, and you're like, oh, they got exposed, and immediately you're out on them. But ESPN has been able to swing it where it's like, even though that Texas has lost to Florida, you're still in, like, they still make you want to, oh, Texas is important. We should
Mhm.
watch Texas. Even though that Oklahoma has been struggling mightily since John Mateer has gotten back. They made you believe, well, if Mateer can turn the corner, remember
Yeah.
what they did early in the season?
Yeah.
Like, the fact that they have that machine behind them is why I think that game, 18 versus 14, is another thing too, with the AP poll helping them out, with them being ranked.
Did you know Josh Heupel won a national championship as the quarterback at Oklahoma? You think that'll come up this weekend in Knoxville?
Probably.
I remember that.
But
Hey,
here- but-
you remember Nebraska down there in 2000
Very
had the
much so.
lead.
14
just-
nothing.
I
Hey,
think
hey, old Mr. Raiola walks off the field, and the student section at OU
yeah.
was right behind the Nebraska bench,
Mhm.
and in front of Herb Street, who was on the sidelines. Dom goes, "Who wants a piece?"
My money would
He
have been
stood
on
there.
Dom.
They scored. This was I think it was a Davidson touchdown.
Yeah.
He stands there and he goes, "Who wants a piece of this?" And I heard some language I've never heard before in my life, and they were waiting for people to come out of the crowd,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Hey, you're messing with the wrong guy. 54 is not a guy to mess with." Yeah, there
Yeah.
was so people will probably bring that up. Maybe it's new. Hey,
It's-
did you know Heupel as a southpaw won a national championship? He does not look like what he did back in 2000.
no.
A little different.
But it's just what it boils down
more
to, Gary,
portly.
is that like Oregon loses an incredibly close game to Indiana, and we go, "Oh, Oregon, like, are they really a national title thing? Like we're out on them. Like we're not giving them the proper respect." But then Alabama loses to a lesser team in Vanderbilt last year, and we go, "Well, that happens in the SEC. That just occurs when you're in such a deep conference. That
Mhm.
happens." And you have the people who are experts,
Um,
who are paid a lot of money, telling the public to do that. What is the public supposed to think?
And the public also probably should think, is Pavia going to ruin everything because he's going to play in a big game on Saturday, Texas Vanderbilt in Austin. The Heisman race. So Simpson, Mendoza, I would throw Sayin in there, Marcel Reed. But Mendoza, Indiana plays dust in the wind for the last 4
They
games.
play nobody.
Their combined opponents' records are 1-16. So will people pay attention to Mendoza? Eric in Fremont writes in about coaches and the carousel. Every team should be going to get Brent Key. That's the first coach on any list. Now he's the head coach at Georgia Tech. I think his name doesn't show up, and I think there's a reason. Isn't he at his alma mater?
Yes.
Okay.
Look, I'm typing that right now.
I
I'm
cannot see
double
your
checking.
computer. He does not have a clear screen on the backside.
Yeah, no, he's Georgia Tech is his alma mater.
Okay. So I think that's
And-
why his name, he's a very good football coach who also is run the ball guy and stop the
Well-
run. He, being at his alma mater, I think is where he is
And
comfortable with.
and I think it's really funny. Like you bring that up. Like Clark Lee is another guy who should be on the top of the list in a traditional coaching cycle,
Mhm.
would be on the top of the list for most teams to go and hire. He's also at his alma mater. So, and then you got a guy like Kenny Dillingham, who literally at the age of 20 years old is telling people, "I want to be the head coach of Arizona State." And so you have 3 like marquee guys who in any sort of like traditional world of college football would probably be top of the list on most of the jobs that aren't, more than likely, money talks, but more than likely not leaving.
John S. is Bob Kenny's brother by chance, the head coach at JMU. He is not. He was born in the state of Pennsylvania. He's like, he's not as old as Signetti. He is 48. And his path to being a head coach doesn't include being with Saban.
Sure.
It includes Salve Regina, Assumption, Holy Cross, James Madison, very religious head coach. And now at JMU taking over Signetti. Like how many there's two things I'm curious on in the coaching carousel.
Okay, give it to me.
Is everybody's looking for the next Signetti, and he's a unicorn.
Yeah.
But okay, the guy that took over for him, and remember, Signetti took the cupboard kind of with him. He didn't
Took everybody,
didn't say-
everybody
he didn't say-
notable.
He didn't say, Bob, you should get this job. Okay, I know you're from Holy Cross. Here's players you're going to have. He took them all with him,
Yeah.
and he went in there and they've won. But I think JMU football is one of those programs that, like, okay,
They're like the Drake.
They're-
Are they the Drake of college football?
the rapper.
No, Drake basketball. You know, like Drake basketball can hire a bunch of different coaches, and yet they're going to be very consistent and like end up making the NCAA tournament. Where JMU they
That's
can hire.
a youngster that had put up with the Rudy Washington and Tom Abeta Marco era.
I'm saying as of late, Gary. As of late,
Yeah, you got D-Rock, you got
Yeah.
Nico, and now you got Hendo
and
over there.
McCollum was over there.
Yeah, Ben McCollum had a
Yeah.
nice little 31-5 season last year. Yeah, I could see. I mean,
Come on, you
put
can pick
that
up
out
what
there.
I'm putting down.
Is James Madison
Similar.
the Drake basketball of college football?
I don't think that's a bad in current times.
I'm
a
not
bad
saying it's bad. I think you should put it out there. I think you should float
Should
it.
I market that?
Terry wants to respond to Nebraska Ball Mike in the Equitable Bank inbox. He said, "Hi guys. After Monday's show, I sold my house and bought a GTR S. Been driving it around for the last 2 days like there's no tomorrow. Then this morning happened. WTF? Now what? I guess I'll test the theory that you can live in your car, but you can't drive your house." Thank you, Terry. That's unfortunate.
That would be up
Nebraska
Terry.
Ball
I
Mike
gotta
did that to him.
I gotta hit the links with Terry soon. I miss Terry.
Jerry,
I miss Tiburon.
I think I've ticked off Jerry.
Oh, what'd you say?
So this is two Blue Bloods playing on Saturday night.
Yeah,
Okay, it's USC and Nebraska.
two historical franchises.
Jerry says, "Are we a blue blood?" ?
Yes.
Now, but he's got some evidence here. We don't act like one. Nebraska Ball Mike is right. First time that's been mentioned on the show this morning. We
Or
are
this week.
we are because Nebraska Ball Mike says we're a AAA program. Do a Google search of AAA baseball. AAA baseball gimmicks are often theme promotions and alternate identities.
Get
Like
out
the-
of here.
like the-
Get out of here.
Like the Erie
Get out.
pepperoni balls.
Get out of here.
Altoona Curve have Awful Night. Syracuse Devices tribute to Brannick Device. Other gimmicks involve player giveaways, historical tributes, and engaging with local culture, inside jokes. Here's how a true blue blood behaves. Alabama does not have alternate uniforms, preferring to maintain a strict tradition of home crimson and away white uniforms. The university's name, legacy, and brand recognition mean that it doesn't need alternate jerseys for recruiting or marketing advantages. All right, Jerry?
Duly noted.
Extra points for throwing in a mention about AAA
I
baseball.
was about to say you are the perfect person to reference that to.
I don't think we'll have enough time because didn't Ari and Andy Staples get into a whole blue blood discussion this summer?
Every year we get into the blue blood
Okay.
discussion. And I honestly think the blue blood discussion should really just boil down to what you've described it as, which is, can you tell the story of college football without this team? If the answer is no, you cannot, then they are a blue blood.
All right.
Done.
One of the blue bloods is going to win on Saturday night. Randy's here to tell us how to beat USC. Good morning, Randy. How are you?
Well, that wasn't my subject, but that's okay. This is no turnovers in fully lights out defense. I guess is the only way. But
Yeah, and you
the
hear
reason I was calling actually
okay.
is that they talk about us as that the SEC being so great, and I think it was their string of in 10 years they had like 5 or 6 different teams win the title.
Mhm.
So it says we need to have either Indiana or Oregon win this
Sure.
year, probably just to
Maybe
just
three
to
straight.
show the Big Ten has more than 1 or 2 teams
Yeah.
that are there, and maybe it'll generate that respect for the conference. When you have multiple teams stepping up and actually winning a title. So
That's a great point, Randy. But I do think that a lot of where my angst comes from is just the new era, this current era, this last 3 years of college football, and just the fact that, you're totally right. During that time, that 10-year stretch with 5 national champions and getting the best players and producing the most NFL players by far, and the talent was definitely skewed toward the South. Like, yeah, you were right. But in these last couple of years, it has been it's been so apparent that just the talent has been able to spread out, and
Well, because
it's
everyone
just more
can
competitive.
everyone can pay players
Bang.
now. They have
Exactly.
they have no distinct advantage. Yep.
You don't have to have the illegal bagmen anymore. So.
I know, but we miss those, right? We miss the fake jobs at car dealerships. I think college football was better when you could cheat quietly or openly. Maybe. Randy, thanks for the phone call. Yeah,
It was more fun.
The NIL and people being able to pay kind of leveled the playing field, and the teams that are still good in the SEC adjusted, or they have really, really good head coaches, and they have a built-in tradition where their tradition and their guys send into the league.
Yeah.
They do, they're kind of a turnkey. But where college football has changed is the middle is getting closer to the top.
Yes.
The same teams that were there 5-10 years ago are kind of still there. But the middle teams, it allows a Vanderbilt and an Indiana to be the story of college football this weekend. Indiana has scored. How about this? This isn't PFF.
Okay.
So your cockles won't get completely warmed.
But I love a good stat.
I think throw this on your wacky stats.
Okay.
That we'll do in the next segment. I think Indiana leads college football in touchdowns in the last 2 years.
Really?
I think they're at 124 touchdowns in the last 2 years.
So they scored 56 against Nebraska. I mean, they've blown everybody out. So I think I can subscribe to that. It's just crazy when you put it like that. It's just crazy. We are at the point where anytime you say anything about Indiana, something good is going to come out your mouth about them. And you just have to you just have to step back and be like, oh my God, they are doing that. I think Ohio State is the best team in the country. I don't think anything is going to make me think Ohio State isn't the best team in the country until they either lose. Well, until they lose. Until they lose, there's nothing they can do.
120 touchdowns by Indiana since 2024,
Garrett,
the most in the nation.
The next best team in college football is Indiana.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 years ago, they were looking for a brand new head
I'd
coach.
put Indiana ahead of Ohio State just because of their win at Oregon.
Really?
But they're 1A, 1B. There isn't much of separation, and we may get both of them playing twice this year. They're on a course to play in Indianapolis,
Yeah.
which would be great for the conference.
Mhm.
It'd be great for the Heisman race.
Yeah. It'd be incredible for the Heisman. I think that the reason why I just think that Ohio State, they've just played dominating football to the point where it's what they did to Illinois. Okay, Indiana blew out Illinois, but I also was super impressed with how Ohio State, if you watch that game, they stiff-armed Illinois. They didn't allow them to even sniff that game.
What is unfortunate is of this year and the seed that Indiana is going to get, and even Ohio State, they won't get to play in Columbus or Bloomington, respectively.
It's
They'll
another
have to play a neutral site, warm weather game instead of being able to play in the middle of December. We already saw in Columbus last year what it did to Tennessee.
Well,
imagine a playoff game in Bloomington, Indiana.
That'd be incredible. Now, here's another thing. You brought up a great point earlier in the week. It is kind of startling how much better or how much more competitive an SEC slate seems week to week compared.
Because I think they don't schedule so far out with the conference.
Well, yeah, because you make these games with the assumption of hey, Wisconsin and Ohio State are going to be really good.
Like last year, you could have looked at Indiana and said, "Oh, okay, we see what's going on there.
Yeah,
let's enhance Indiana's schedule and let's get Indiana, Ohio State to play again this year,
or let's build storylines, right? What if there's a very this is what the NFL
Let's
does.
treat it like WWE.
A little, you have to
take away the belts from the Big 12.
Oh, look, I'm not being sarcastic when I mean that you definitely do have to think of storylines and making things more interesting. And college football is such a competitive product that what is going to put you over the edge of people wanting to watch USC play Nebraska as opposed to them playing Tennessee and Oklahoma. To me, it's a no-brainer to have Indiana play Ohio State.
All right, we'll have wacky stats coming up next. Another stat to chew on, and this might involve some former Nebraska assistants. Florida State and Wake Forest this weekend in Tallahassee. Seminoles started 3-0. Now they're 0-4, all by one score, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a Nebraska thing.
I guess
You can't run away from the one score. But this year's Nebraska team is 3-1 in one-score games.
Whoa.
Wacky stat. Since Florida State went 13-0, they are 5-15.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a terrible stat.
Who's got 59 mil down there in Tallatrashy?
There's nothing wacky about that. That's just depressing stat.
Yeah, but it's wacky. Who would have thought there'd be a wacky stat?
Why did you turn into walk? Why did you turn into walk in there?
Wonky. It's wacky. And the wacky stats. That's coming up next.
on Gilly and Matt on 1620 to Zone.
All right, time for some wacky stats. Be a quarterback night. The draft stock, very interesting on both of the quarterbacks. One is eligible this year in Jaden Maeva. One is eligible next year. NFL draft experts are trying to figure out where they both fit. Maeva not in the top 5 at his respective position. Behind a Moore, a Mendoza, Simpson, a Sellers, a Mateer. You could probably throw a Nussmeier in there as well. But they're figuring out what to do with Maeva. Give you a little funky stat
Okay.
before you get into your funky stats. Throws the ball, deep ball, better than Raiola.
Yes.
There is when pressure compared to blitzing. He can wheel and deal. When blitzed, he seems to, because he's got an array of wide receivers. He's got 2 NFL wide receivers and an NFL tight end that are eligible this year. He can wheel and deal. We'll see, because I think there is a gap. If I had to rank the current college quarterbacks, regardless of class, I think there is a gap, a pretty sizable gap in college football between Maeva and Dillon. So we'll see how that gets shortened on Saturday night. But I don't, Dillon. This is a Dillon type game where I think it's okay to say, hey, can you be the guy? Can you be the guy?
Well,
I said this before the Northwestern game. I said, we're about to find out over this 5-game vibe check. Does Nebraska have a star under center? Because you need a star under center to make a run at the playoff.
And this is also too, like we definitely, and we haven't fully dove deep into why are the handcuffs still on, but we are getting to the point where it's like the handcuffs should be coming off. So,
and it's different weapons you have. I mean, Maeva's got some great weapons. I mean, I think I could complete some passes if I was throwing to Lemon and Lane.
Well, Jordan Maeva also fires the football into some creases. Yeah. Like he does the one thing that he does that Dillon doesn't do is that he fires the football and he doesn't hold on to the ball too long. Yeah. He will see a crease and he will trust his arm and he will go and get it. And I think that the just processing is a little bit quicker for him than it is for Dillon. And it's noticeable on tape. All right.
Here's what I asked though. One thing about Dillon. Okay. Because I think the handcuffs will kind of stay on and they won't take chances. I asked you that earlier in the show. Is Dillon needs to, out of everything else, needs to be smart with the football. No turnovers, holding on to it. But most importantly, when they get into the red zone, because
got to score.
Got to score, but also a guy named Bishop Fitzgerald likes to roam around in the red zone and pick off passes. And their cornerbacks are not great. Their safeties are good, but they run some nickel.
Yeah.
That they're going to throw some coverage things at Dillon that maybe he doesn't see on a regular basis, because by this time in your career, you've seen enough. Like the between the ears might be the most important thing with Dillon on Saturday night. All right, time for some wacky stats.
And back to you real quick. He has been a little bit careless with the ball more than usual over the last couple of games. All right, I want to apologize to start first here. Canva was being weird, and so there's not a logo on top of USC's stats. So I apologize.
Okay.
It's a bad looking graphic. It's a bad looking. I couldn't move the logo over. I was having trouble. This is not a wacky stat Thursday. This is a deep dig stat Thursday because I had to dig really deep to find some of these. Emmett Johnson is averaging 2.98 yards after contact. There really isn't that much. Some of the best running backs in the country are averaging closer to 3.7, 3.6. Some are averaging up to 4 yards after contact. The reason I put this stat on here isn't to disparage Emmett at all. It's really 2.98 seems low. I just feel like he's being hit behind the line of scrimmage a little bit more. And I mean, it's just, I saw that number and I was like, I feel like he's doing more than that. And so this is one of those things where it's like, yeah, the stat says 2.98, but I feel like he's getting way more just bang for his buck in terms of where he's getting hit in terms of the line of scrimmage. All right. This was my deep dig one. I had to go through every single box score and then go through every single roster that Nebraska's played to find out who the tight ends are. But Nebraska's given up 256 receiving yards against tight ends this season. I can't find on college football where that ranks amongst the country. But it really has come from the bulk of 2 games. Minnesota and Northwestern were the only ones that were really able to get their tight ends the football. I mean, Akron had -1 receiving yards from their tight ends. So Nebraska overall through 8 games this season has done a pretty good job. I mean, this is about 35 yards a game to tight ends. If they can do this against McCree and against Walker Lyons, this game, they're
Mm-hmm.
going to be very, very well off. Nebraska early down EPA is negative 0.06 this season. It's 60th in the country. It is just, it's one of those things where I thought that early downs coming into the season would be a very, very important thing. And this kind of tracks back to the Minnesota game when they didn't have success on first down. It just seemed like their play calling became incredibly predictable. I think from here on out, first down success is going to be a major key for Nebraska in every single game. All right, over to USC side. Once again, sorry that we don't have the logo. Canva was being a pain in the ass. Luke Altmaier's average depth of the target against USC was 6.5. Okay. This is an interesting stat because if you look at Altmaier's stat line from the USC game, it's like he's got over 250 like passing yards. It looks like he absolutely carved him. It was really just they threw a lot of slants. They threw a lot of screens. The RPO game was high. So even though that he had a plethora of yards against USC passing, it wasn't like he was pushing the ball down the field. I put this stat to prove, hey, you can kind of dink and dunk and nickel and dime USC and have some success. They scored 34 points. They could have easily had 48 in that game. They lost the ball twice within the 10-yard line. USC is 125th in the country in starting field position. This is when we talk about special teams. This is an area that Nebraska can expose them. They typically start their drives on the 25-yard line. So if Nebraska can have some good kickoffs, some good punts, put USC back, right, forcing them to drive the ball pretty long down the field, could give them an opportunity to get the ball back more often. Final stat.
Can I give you something though?
Yeah,
you know,
quick.
And they're another part of the special teams is USC is the worst in the Big Ten in kickoff return coverage. Isn't essentially Nebraska this year with kickoff returns, they have an extra first down every possession?
Yes.
Yeah. That's a great stat there from USC.
And Nebraska's starting field position this season, Gary, 33. So they're getting 8, like they're starting basically.
Who are those guys in Lincoln? You're not supposed to do that.
And then I shouldn't have done this, and it's part of the reason why this graphic is a little wonky. This took way too long to find. Okay. But I was looking through USC sack numbers, and I saw that they had 4 players with 3 or more sacks this season. I thought to myself, God, they got it. Like, there can't be that many teams in the country that have 4 guys that have 3+ sacks this season. Gary, I was right. Only Indiana and Tennessee are teams that have 4 guys with 3 or more sacks this season, along with USC. So it's not necessarily like they have the Stewart or they have the Barham or they have like any of those top guys, but they have capable guys across the defensive line who are going to be able to put pressure on the quarterback. And so it'll be interesting to see. Do we see the offensive line that performed against Maryland, or do we see the offensive line that performed against Michigan State? Depending on where we're at, I think will determine what the game will look like.
Let me throw 2 other things here about Maeva.
Okay.
So when he's blitzed, he throws 72% completion rate, 6 touchdowns, no picks, 842 yards. But when opposing defenses get after him and the pocket collapses, as most people, it drops. His drop's pretty big, down to 40%.
He does. He gets on his back foot. He becomes a back foot thrower and he floats the ball a little bit. It just comes down to, can you get pressure?
Well, can you get pressure with more than 4? And we kind of know the answer to that.
No.
Good job on the wacky stats.
I'm sorry. I'm so mad at myself that I couldn't put the USC logo on top of there. I feel like a dummy.
You should have
but
just drawn it in lines.
I don't know. But wacky stats. There you go. Wacky and informational stats.
Lincoln's going to take that as disrespect.
I think that was our best go at that.
USC 130 plays of 10 yards or more, 9 plays of 50 yards or more.
Where's their explosive play percentage? They're 130. That's got to be.
You're the guy with the PFF.
Oh, I can't.
Subscription.
Let me go.
Look it up.
Let me go.
Here's a guy
Let me
who
go
paid
to
for my thing.
GameOnPaper.com.
One other side note on arrival of USC. I read this morning. So people that are going out to Los Angeles next week because you want to get away from the cold and you want to go experience the Rose Bowl and figure out, hey, could this game actually be at 7:00 local time out there?
That would be late here.
Could it be at 4:30 local time? Could it be at 12:30 local time? We don't know. 6-day hold. I hate when I'm held for 6 days.
So dumb.
I hated that as a kid. You know what? I wanted my parents to put me down and I'd take a nap. But man, they wanted to hold me.
What do you? Oh, like physically hold you. I was like, or are you talking about you're like a D lineman and they were holding you?
No. But my mom was built like an offensive lineman.
Okay.
So rest in peace, Mom. UCLA, if you're going out there next week and you're going to the Rose Bowl,
Yeah.
you're going to have sections to yourself. But if you're in a section, more likely you're going to be around Nebraska people. The LA Times got onto a story that UCLA is trying to get out of the Rose Bowl lease. Dan Guerrero, their former athletic director, locked them into the Rose Bowl, which is a long way from Westwood.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like where in Coral Gables, where Miami is. You got to go all the way out to Miami Gardens
Mhm.
to Hard Rock or whatever the hell they call it today. So it's a hike from campus. Same thing in Los Angeles, and both Miami and Los Angeles
Yeah.
have terrible traffic
Where
problems.
would they play? Not go back to the Coliseum.
So they are looking at SoFi Stadium, which is so much closer to Westwood.
That would make.
I mean, that would make more sense, but their AD locked them into a lease to 2044. And so when you go there, enjoy it. And remember, you get to park on a golf course. Yeah, this is Big Ten football, baby. You go to Ann Arbor to see Michigan and Nebraska or whoever, you get to park on their golf course. You go out to the Rose Bowl, you get to park on a golf course as well.
You been to SoFi? Good stadium.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Be good for UCLA.
Yeah.
I take it to be
Well,
there.
it'd still be empty.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
They
at
would
least
still
it'd
have
be nicer and
they
closer.
tarp off the whole upper section.
But it'd be nicer and closer.
No.
At least that's the caveat.
Yeah. All right, Ari Wasserman from On Three. We'll talk some ball, you all, as we head towards a huge Saturday night game in Lincoln between Nebraska and USC and another weekend. November is here, and it's a playoff elimination weekend. Ari Wasserman from On Three joins Gary and Matt next. All right, another great weekend of college football, playoff elimination games from the SEC to the Big Ten to Navy, North Texas. Put some respect on that game as we welcome in a guy that has the passion that we share and will be at a great game this weekend, not in Lincoln. Ari Wasserman from On3 joins us. Good morning, Ari.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Good.
Appreciate it.
Hey, let's just jump right into this on the game on Saturday night here between Nebraska and USC. A win benefits which program and which head coach more? USC, Nebraska, Lincoln Riley, Matt Rule.
Oh man, that's a hard question. I
Sorry.
think for two different reasons. I think you can make the case for both. USC's still alive in the playoff race, so like I don't know that they'll get in, but they're playing. I really do believe that. I mean, I guess it's true for both. Both teams are playing for their season. Here's what I think is interesting about Nebraska. You can correct me because you're there. You got boots on the ground. But they started the season so well. And there was this thought process maybe that there was going to be some year 3 Rule magic, right?
Yeah.
Going into that Michigan game, you thought, hey, we win this game. We're in a position to maybe win 10, 11 games and be in playoff contention. And then they lose the game. And then I think that after the Minnesota game, which obviously was their worst game of the season, we got brought back down to earth a little bit in terms of like, where are we as a program? Where are we headed? All that stuff. And I think that because of the preseason excitement, and this happened to Oklahoma too, where you get off to a fast start and then you start dreaming about even bigger things, we lost perspective of what 9-3 actually means. And I think Matt Rule's going to get you guys to 9-3. I don't know if that means that it's going to happen this weekend, but I think it's going to happen. And at the end of the year, hopefully we'll look back and we'll say, hey, year 3 magic was a narrative. It was a trend. That doesn't necessarily mean that we had to make the playoff in year 3 to be back. He's built this into a more competent program that is not losing games in excruciating ways. Doesn't mean you don't lose games. Everybody loses games. But if you win 9 games at Nebraska in year 3, you're probably pretty happy about that. For USC, like their head coach, like is kind of quasi on the hot seat coming into the year. Now, I don't know. It's the private university, so we don't know the contract details. But given the context that we got around, LSU's contract with Brian Kelly and the other ones that happened during that same time period, I bet you it's $100 million fully guaranteed. I don't know what USC would be prepared to do, but like in terms of what would be bigger. Like, I think that, like, Nebraska fans, by and large, are pretty happy with Matt Rule and don't want him to go. Like, if USC loses this game, we go right back to, like, what the hell is this program doing? And he's a little bit further along in his build than Matt Rule is. So I'd probably lean USC both because of this year and, like, overall narrative around their coach. I think Matt Rule could lose this game, finish 9-3, and have a really solid year and foundation built on moving forward.
Ari, I got to ask you about this coaching carousel. Gary and I were talking earlier in the show about Clark Lee, Brent Key, and Kenny Dillingham. And in any traditional head coaching cycle, you would think, wow, those are 3 names who are 3 guys who are coaching 3 programs who are playing great football. But all 3 of them are at their alma mater. I mean, Kenny Dillingham just seems like a guy where he just does not want to leave ASU. And Clark Lee has even called Vanderbilt his dream job. Do you see a world in this crazy head coaching cycle coming up that one of those 3 guys kind of leaves the place that they match up so well with?
The alma mater thing is interesting because, like, I went to Arizona. If I were Arizona's football coach and LSU called me, I'd probably pick up the phone. And I know that if you play football or you go through a program or there's a connection maybe that people who have, been involved with athletics and, possess that maybe a journalism student wouldn't.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I am like roughly the same age as Kenny Dillingham, and we both grew up in Scottsdale in the same circle. So I know a lot of people like around him. Like we were kind of like one friend removed from childhood. Okay. And like the dude loves Scottsdale. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like I like who wouldn't? I don't know if you guys have been there, but I would love to move back if I could. And being a legend at Arizona State for somebody who grew up in Scottsdale while also getting to live in Paradise Valley in a 10,000 square foot home underneath a mountain is a pretty good existence. That said, if LSU calls and, because, like, listen, here's the thing that people are losing track of. Like, wherever Lane Kiffin goes, he's going to set the market for, like, think about how much leverage this human being has. Yeah. It might be the most leverage a coach has had maybe in the history of the sport. in terms of how many places, like wanting to be retained by the place that you're at and the programs that are desperate to have you. He's probably going to get somewhere between 13 and 15 million annually next year, which means that if that happens first, that whoever backfills those jobs has to set the market that way. And I'm not saying that those guys would be worth that, but if somebody called up Kenny Dillingham and said, hey, go be the head coach of LSU for $14 million a year, like I have a hard time, like I don't know him that well, but that's a pretty hard thing to say no to.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other thing that we have to take into account here, and maybe this doesn't apply to Arizona State, and maybe this doesn't even apply to Vanderbilt, but the hierarchy of jobs, the way that we viewed it in 2019 is different now. Like, I think you could make the case that Ole Miss is every bit as good of a job as Florida.
Yeah.
I think that if you are in one of the two major conferences and you are given the resources, both from an NIL and administrative buy-in standpoint, to compete, and it's kind of the same thing that you guys are going to be dealing with here too. Is Nebraska a better job than Penn State? 7 years ago, it's not even a conversation. Now you can have that discussion because Nebraska gives you what you need. Geography and recruiting isn't necessarily as important as it used to be. You can get guys in different ways. Like, if Nebraska is committed to winning a national title, you could probably get as many resources at Nebraska as you could at Penn State. That wasn't the true at a lot of these places, 5-7 years ago. So, but for the Big 12, Vanderbilt, like, I don't know. The one thing that Andy and I were talking about on our show yesterday, not to ramble,
No, that's
is
great.
that, like, in the 2021 cycle, there were people who left jobs unexpectedly. Like when Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma to USC, that was kind of like an oh my God moment, right? When Brian Kelly left Notre Dame to LSU, that was an oh my God moment. Those guys weren't even on hot boards because people assumed that those people were already in positions that they could not leave or would not be willing to leave. And I would be shocked with how many jobs are coming open and how few candidates there are if somebody isn't going to be pried away from a place that we don't think they can be pried away from.
True. I'm with you guys on that. And I mean, we live in a world where college football has changed. You use 21, you go back 7 years. This year, we're talking Indiana and Vanderbilt, and they have two quarterbacks that are in the run for Heisman. If you would have told anybody 10 years ago, they'd be like, you are absolutely crazy. But that's how the game has changed. But you and Andy talk a lot, and we do around here because we look at Cignetti and we go, man, what are they doing at Indiana? How and other athletic directors, fairly or unfairly, might be saying, hey, if they can do it in Bloomington, how come we can't do it here? What is realistic about what Indiana is doing that can be replicated, and what also is unrealistic, what they're doing that can't be replicated elsewhere?
You know, because like Andy always says that. Well, Curt Cignetti means that there's no excuses for anybody to stink in year 3. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's the perception he's creating, but it's almost like an NBA player in 1995 going, what is Michael Jordan doing that I'm not doing?
That's a good
Like,
point.
And that's the way I kind of view it. It's like, and I'm not calling Curt Cignetti Michael Jordan. He just signed a massive extension, and I would not be surprised if in 7 years we're like, oh my God, or 5 years, well, I can't believe they gave him all that money. Like, we get caught up in the actual moment. And like, listen, I'm not diminishing what the man has done. He's done something like otherworldly remarkable. But in this day and age, if you get the right 6 players to go with you somewhere, or you evaluate the right 6 players in the portal, and they come in and produce, you can turn any team into a good team.
Yeah.
Back in the day, Indiana didn't have a chance to have a player like Fernando Mendoza. They didn't have a chance to get D'Angelo Pons at corner. And it doesn't matter where they came from. Those players wouldn't have gone to Indiana to begin with. They would have gone to all the JMU players that are playing at a high level right now and producing NFL results would have been swooped up by Ohio State or Penn State or somebody. The fact that they're at Indiana right now is the sign of the times. It's not so much Cignetti. So when I look at Cignetti and Clark Lee, I'm looking at 2 of the most remarkable coaching jobs that I've ever seen. So, like, if you're a Nebraska fan, you're like, well, God damn, what is Indiana doing that Nebraska's not doing? It's like, well, they're doing something insanely remarkable, and that's not the standard. Like, I think that you lose sight of that. Like, it's like you see how great Cignetti is doing, and then you lose track of what Matt Rule's doing. And I think that's an unhealthy way to live, especially considering the fact that if you had to buy futures on a program for the next 10 years in total, most people would probably still take Nebraska's future.
I agree.
They may not be having the greatest year. They might not be having a better year than Indiana or 2-year period, but like, what program do you think is going to stand above the other one over a long-term period? That's the way I would look at it. It's kind of like investing, right? Oh, no, my stock went down 3% today. Well, it's like, it's going to go up 4 tomorrow. Who cares? Like, it's just kind of the way it works. So if by year 5 Matt Rule hasn't made the playoff, or hasn't had a season in which they were in the discussion in late November, then maybe you can have this conversation. But don't take good returns and positive results and get greedy about like what should happen. Like, oh, we should be in the playoff in year 3. Nobody should be in the year in the play because Indiana did something remarkable. That doesn't change the way that the world works. It still takes time.
Ari Wasserman of On 3 here on Gary and Matt. Ari, I'm going to ask you a question on the surface level. It might sound crazy, but I think you know where I'm going here. What is more likely? The Big Ten gets 4 teams in the college football playoff, or the ACC gets 3 teams in the college football playoff?
Oh, man. So you know what's so stupid about this system?
Yeah,
is that we can't even crown our own conference champions correctly. So that then it's like Miami controls its own destiny to the playoff, but not its own conference title.
Yeah.
How stupid is that?
It's so
backwards.
Dumb.
Yeah. So like that's a really hard thing to answer. I think it's probably more likely that the Big Ten does because like Indiana and Ohio State will only have 1 loss, and then Oregon doesn't play either of those for the rest of the year, so they'll probably only have 1 loss, and they're not going to play in a title game. And now it's a matter of whether or not you think another Big Ten team is going to finish 10-2. So I would probably say Big Ten, but nobody in the ACC plays each other.
Yeah.
Like, so, but sorry, excuse me, I just got something in my throat. Then I looked at the ACC. They don't play each other either, but then I see like Wake Forest like almost beating conference title contenders. And it's like, yeah, well, their teams are probably in the ACC are just probably going to lose to some random team. Or more likely to do it. I would say the Big Ten. Okay. Plus, it's easier to put a Big Ten team in.
Oh wait.
Hey, speaking of
3 teams in the ACC is a lot.
Yeah, it would have to be a very specific Georgia Tech loses to Virginia in the ACC title game, and then Miami wins out but doesn't make the title game.
Hey, we'll get you out.
Georgia Tech would probably be a 2-loss team at that point.
Well,
playing Georgia at the end of the year.
If they beat Georgia, though, that's the hypothetical. I mean, that's why this sport is so much fun, right?
What I think would be interesting is if Georgia Tech beat Georgia and then lost the ACC title, and then Miami also win. That I think would be. I think that you would want Georgia Tech to win that game to get 3, not lose it.
Hey, we'll get you out on this. Your campus tour with Andy. You guys are at Ohio State, Penn State. Back in February, this looked like a monster game, the game of the year in the Big Ten. What do you think the vibe will be like in Columbus?
I mean, it's always. So I covered Ohio State for 10 years, and like there's a bug in the feature of being like an Ohio State reporter and fan. It's like the feature is that you get 2 or 3 big home games a year, and you get to get really fired up about those games. The bug is that 8 of the 9 or 9 of the 12 games you play suck.
Yeah.
And like I think it stinks that like one of their only big home game outside of the Texas game to start the year sucks now. Like so I'm sure people will be fired up. It's still Penn State. They still have good players. But like the second biggest home game of your entire season, you're a 20.5-point favorite. Like that's just, I and it's not at night, of course. So like, it's just, people will be fired up. I'm sure the vibe will be high. People love going to Ohio State games. The stadium's always packed. You have a national championship caliber team, all the things that fans typically get excited for. But I do think it's kind of a drag that you pay season tickets in Columbus and like really the product that you're delivered there is just, and I know that sounds maybe like a spoiled person problem, right? Like
I think it's fair.
The rich kid's car broke down, like I don't know, like the rich kid's Porsche didn't start today, but like but like at the same time too, it's like if you're a fan and you're paying a ton of money, like wouldn't you like to get your blood pressure going a little bit?
Yes.
Like I think that the entire point of sports is to be intrigued and entertained, and like beating Penn State 34-10 isn't an intriguing game.
Yeah.
So I hope that Penn State, like the one thing that James Franklin did when he was at Penn State that nobody can take away from him is he always found a way to muck this game up. And like Penn State covered the spread more often than not. I wonder if Penn State has anything left in the tank. And I brought this up to Andy, who like if Penn State won out, would they make the playoff with 4 losses? I don't know, but if you look at their schedule, they would have a lot of quality wins if they did that. So maybe they can like try to convince themselves that their season's still alive. I have no idea. But I think that in terms of this game was going to be a 10 out of 10. Obviously, like I'm missing Halloween with my daughter tomorrow night, trick or treating, and it's the first event of her life that I'm missing, and I'm kind of having a hard time with it. But like I was like, well, it's Ohio State, Penn State, and it's like now it's like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm not going to be here for this,
Yeah.
So hopefully it provides some left field excitement, but I think the vibes will be high, but I also am disappointed for them that they don't get a chance to enjoy themselves until January when you're an Ohio State fan.
Hey, we don't always agree with everything, but we do enjoy you and Andy talking college football. You got a huge audience in this state, as you know. So thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Anytime you need me, just give me a holler, okay?
All right,
Thanks.
thank you,
That's
Ari.
Ari Wasserman from On3.
Nice. That was good. That was awesome.
Mhm.
He's like, you start that lawnmower and it gets going. He's got all that knowledge of college football. It's great.
There's, there are more and more people that are talking college football. I mean, I know it's still a heavy regional sport,
Mm-hmm.
but
But we live in a great region.
well, in the
for
last
it.
couple of years, it's become more national where it's not all NFL, and there are more people that have, like the On3 guys, and have more platforms to talk.
Oh, yeah. I love his honesty, though, with the Kenny. Most people be like, oh, I know Kenny Dillingham and I know the people in his circle. He goes, well, I'm like one friend away from him, but I know enough about what's
They
going
do
on.
give him on their show. Period. When Arizona State comes up, they'll give him a hard time.
Yeah.
All
That's funny.
right. Next hour, we'll include Steve Sipple, ahead of Nebraska and USC. We'll remember how Sip's trip was in 06 to USC.
Oh, probably.
How the game in 07, the buildup.
I was about to say it, the 07 game.
Yeah. And then last year was a really odd game, too.
That was such that is the weirdest game in the Matt Rule era.
Oh, should we revisit the timeout?
I love those. I'm a fan of those. That's where it started, I think, by the way.
Yeah, probably. All right, last hour is coming up next. All right, little thing during the break here in the radio station. Crash Davis, who is over on 101.9 The Keg, who I find myself listening to more music. They have updated their song catalog
Okay.
over on The Keg.
They
Yeah.
have.
Yeah, so I like listening to The Keg because I leave it on Big Red Overreaction and
Mm-hmm.
hop in the car and it's on. That's a good radio station. Even better signal. Sound great with FM sports talk. But that's a really good radio station that Crash is on. I mean, they play some really good music. Like you would think, hey, it's just like classic rock. No, it's like songs now like 5-6 years ago they were in the rotation.
Oh, really?
But he came in studio here and he's doing a little vignette, little content.
You like your vignettes?
He didn't
I
even
love my vignettes.
he did not even because he was asking everybody what their favorite candy is. And the Twix is underrated. The Kit
So
Kat is underrated.
Always
Kit
saw
Kat is underrated.
I said the peanut butter kisses and the orange wrappers. He didn't even blink an eye.
Like the
I know what you're talking about. People have said, yeah.
Is it
they're
like
bad.
chocolate?
They're bad.
It's chocolate and orange. You said it was your
No.
favorite.
No.
Though.
Oh, I was being sarcastic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the peanut butter kisses that are in the orange wrapper that you only get on Halloween. They're orange and black.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever had them.
Yeah,
not
most
missing
people
anything.
don't. Most people do not.
I always like the
Popcorn bowl?
white chocolate with the chocolate swirl kisses. You know what I'm talking about? It's the white chocolate swirl Hershey
Yeah,
kisses.
you like the
Those
swirl.
are dope.
Yeah, and then they went crazy and they have a Christmas flavor too. That are in
Whoa!
the same.
You don't like candy cane? You don't like the candy cane?
Not in a
Hershey
Hershey
Kisses?
Kisses. I just like black.
Mhm.
I like straight black. I don't
or-
need to have anything in with my black. I like it just.
Well, it's
I like that.
brown.
Oh, okay, black or brown.
I mean,
Tastes the same.
It's dark chocolate.
Tastes the
milk
same.
chocolate.
Yeah,
No, it's different. Dark chocolate and milk chocolate are different.
yeah. But I don't. Can you get dark chocolate Hershey Kisses?
I think you can get
I
all
think you
types of
can.
Hershey Kisses.
you can.
I like the small little when they give you the fun size Hershey Kisses or the fun size Hershey bars.
Mhm.
Those are sick.
Best piece of advice Joe Madden ever gave me.
Leave a job every 5 years.
That was Danny Nee. It was
No.
7, 10.
You haven't done
Danny
that,
Nee
so
said
you
10.
obviously didn't.
So Joe Madden keeps a dark chocolate candy bar in his pocket
Why?
because he said dark chocolate helps keep the mind fresh. He told me that. We did an event together.
Okay, so you're gonna pull out your dark chocolate from your
No.
pocket right now?
R.I.P.
But I
the
will
pants.
say, like for probably a month afterwards, when I go to the store, I would get like a dark chocolate, and I'm not a dark chocolate fan.
Yeah.
I would do it thinking, okay, maybe
right, Madden.
Joe Madden, he just won a World Series. He knows
But-
what he's talking
By
about.
the way, Joe Madden has coached in some very hot climates: Tampa Bay, Los Angeles. Like, wouldn't that melt in your pocket? Wouldn't that be like a
would
hazard?
melt anywhere.
You got to be a pro to keep it from not melting. Steve Sipple is going to join us here in a little bit. There is we could have something happen that has not happened in Lincoln in 7 years on Saturday night. It'll happen before the season is over, but it could happen on Saturday night. You know what that is?
No,
7 years. Anybody want to take a guess?
I know what 9 years is.
Yep, that's 28 straight games without beating a ranked team. But at some point that has to end. It cannot go forever. Things don't go forever, Matt.
No.
So at some point that's going to have to end, and maybe it ends on Saturday night if Nebraska meets the moment. New Nebraska meets the moment. They get a redo from Michigan, from Minnesota. But something could happen on Saturday night that has not happened in 7 years around here. Do you know what that is?
Nebraska
Do,
wins
do,
a game
do,
at home as an underdog.
Not what I was looking for.
But I think I'm in the ballpark.
You're in the ballpark. Nebraska could have their first 1,000-yard rusher.
Oh God.
So Emmett Johnson is 163 yards away. Divina Zigbo ran for 218.
Yeah.
Or in 2018 ran for 1,000. But as I'm looking at Emmett's stuff, and again, I think they win a football game. They're 7-2. He's doing what he's doing. I start the campaign.
Oh
Okay?
God, yeah, he
All right.
should be.
All right. I start the EJ is for you campaign to be all Big Ten running back. And then remember, this is an Emmett Johnson award. It is not like, oh man, I hope you buy watches for the offensive line. I hope the
Oh.
offensive line buys watches for Emmett. But watching Emmett, and you were doing on the wacky stats, some Emmett stats, it makes me appreciate more what Amir Abdullah did here in 2013 and 2014. So Emmett will make runs and we'll go, man, there's a little bit of Amir there. He's
Yeah.
put on the
Yeah.
Amir cape because Amir didn't have the greatest offensive lines, and he would make something out of nothing. And that's the run we're on with Emmett right now, is he is making something out of nothing. But the more I watch Emmett in 2025 and what he's doing, the more I go, I don't think in the moment we had a lot of appreciation for him, but number 8 back in 13 and 14, I think my appreciation has gone up another level after watching Emmett this year and realizing what Amir was able to do in those 2 years with not great offensive lines and probably not the best offense.
Oh, sure.
You know, like I would think Amir in this offense, what he would be able to do, you know, they'd probably throw to the back a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which I think they'll do a lot of on Saturday night. But Amir Abdul Appreciation Hour for 13-14. Thank you, Emmett Johnson.
There's 8 running backs in the Big Ten who have 100+ carries on the season so far. Emmett Johnson has the second highest yards per carry amongst those 8 running backs at 5.7 yards per carry. The only guy that he's under is Justice Haynes. This is who is the only guy who has rushed for more yards than him. I think what you're talking about is a natural progression of what a lot of fans, regardless if you like pro sports or college sports, that always go through. Where it's like when you have Duncan Keith for 10 years and then your defense is bad, you realize like, wow.
That slipped in a Blackhawk.
Yeah,
Nicely done.
Like, wow, that was awesome. Or like, I'm sure Pittsburgh Steelers fans are appreciating Ben Roethlisberger way more now than maybe they ever have before because they're like, holy crap, this is what it was like. And like the Patriots for the last couple of years until they got Drake May, lucky sons of guns, were probably appreciating like, oh my God. I mean, Tom Brady was that. This is what teams like New England Patriots fans were like, really? This is what teams have had to go through? That you have to deal with bad quarterback play. You have to deal, and to a certain extent, I think Nebraska football for the last 7 years have realized, wow, like this is what teams had to go through in terms of just not being able to have a showstopper at running back, which is something that Nebraska hasn't had for the elongated period of time that they're currently in.
I think Emmett will have a monster night on Saturday night. I think they will throw the ball
agree.
to him out of the backfield. They might count that as a run, which is a popular NFL thing to do. But this is the other part that Nebraska needs to find leaky yardage. They need to win time of possession. They need to get extra possessions and extra yards. Is USC has given up a lot of yards after contact. Now they played 2 teams recently that lined them up and ran the ball over them. But like Hunter, who does a good job of not going down on first contact.
Yeah.
And then of course, EJ, otherwise known as Emmett Johnson. I think those are 2 guys that will be them, and Lindenmeyer will be, I think, the 3 guys outside of the quarterback that I could see on offense. But watch for the leaky yardage. USC is a little bit, their number is pretty high too. I want to say it might be one of the worst in the country
in terms of yards after contact.
Yards after contact that they allow.
I think it's interesting. Like EJ is your most efficient option in terms of offense and just gaining yards and putting yourself in a position to score points. But he also is like your best strategy when you bring up TOP, time of possession. Like this is a UFC offense that is going to get yards and yards in a hurry. And everybody says they know what speed looks like. And then you got number 6 on USC running around. And that's what real speed looks like. Like they are going, there will be an explosive play. There will be
plenty of explosive plays, unfortunately.
There will be a moment where you maybe Nebraska has a momentum and all of a sudden USC is going to pop a 60-yarder or a 50-yarder. And you just have to take a deep breath and go with it. But how you negate that is you hand the ball to 21, you take 5 yards in a cloud of dust, and then you re-rack them and you go, all right, we're going to do it again. And we're going to do it again. And then we're going to take our moments.
You know what this, all this talk about Maeva quarterback, and they've had some injuries at running back. So they're down to King Miller. And I think anybody in the Big Ten would go, oh, darn, we're down to King Miller. They are about 50-50 in terms of run to pass. They run the ball for 5.9, but if you take the wonky games out and you go power 4, they're at 5.45. It's an interesting offense because they have so many weapons in the passing game, but yet they're a 50-50 team.
Well, we talk about
51-49 to be correct.
We talk about Maeva and their like passing game, but also they pounded the ball against Michigan. I mean, they
played smash mouth Big Ten football.
They played bully football, and they got probably hit in the mouth harder against Illinois than they hit Illinois in the mouth. But they ran with Waymon Jordan, who won't be playing, but they still ran the football against a very good Illinois front. So this USC team, they had the physicality on the offensive end. It's just the physicality on the defensive end. outside of I mean, they have the speed on the pass rush, but I mean, their EPA against the run this season is 108th on
Look at all these stats we're throwing out. I'll give you a final stat here, and then we got to get to Sip. They are 6th in the country in yards between tackles running the ball.
That's a PFF one. Come on now. You're using that subscription, baby.
Yeah, thank you.
I can't wait for my Ken Palm.
Yeah.
Come on, you scratch my back, I scratch yours.
Yeah, but I have to ask the person that already used their Ken Palm if I can give it to somebody else.
Okay.
All right, Steve
You
Sipple
mooch.
is coming up next. Talk about Sip's contract extension with On3.
Oh yeah, is it confirmed? Not confirmed yet?
Not playing that game.
Is Bill Moose
I'm
coming in on Twitter? I would
out of
with
that game.
certainty
I'm
Steve
out of that game.
Sipple is not extended.
People are crapping on 1620 today. You know what? Just everybody relax.
Oh,
All right.
I thought you were gonna say everybody crap on Josh. We got nothing to do with it.
No, we're all in this together.
No, we are.
Don't just, you know what? Just focus on Nebraska USC. Good things will happen in due time.
Hopefully.
They will. They will.
Bad match.
All right. We're still talking about Saturday. All right. Sip's coming up next. Brian Edwards as well in 1620 The Zone. All right, here we roll ahead of a matchup on Saturday night. Steve Sipple remembers many trips, many games between Nebraska and USC, and he joins us now from Husker Online and 93.7 The Ticket. Good morning.
I can remember one. How are you guys doing?
Good. Well, you were out there in 06, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
That was a painful game. That was don't make mistakes, shorten the game, get in, get out, take a beating, but not a really bad beating, and come home.
Yeah, they show. Yeah, it's a kind way to say it. And a kind way to say it would be they showed USC a lot of respect. You know. But I understand it in that situation. You can have your season waylaid in a game like that, and then we saw that happen in 2007 when USC came to Lincoln and really took the life out of a program, Nebraska's program. It took the life out of it.
Did, and that season then was over.
Yeah, that can happen. That was one of the most informative games that I've covered in that regard, where Bill Callahan told me subsequently, it was later in that season, that game took a massive toll emotionally, physically, and mentally, and they never fully recovered from that game. And that's, if I'm a coach, I listen to that sort of thing, or if I'm an AD, if I'm scheduling, and you got to be careful to understand where your program's at, and then who you're scheduling.
This will every time Nebraska's played USC, except for last year, they've been ranked, and they were number one in that game. And you're right, that was the bottom fell out, and that was in the month of September. That was in the middle of September. Let me. We know what our audience thinks. You have a couple of different audiences with the radio show, and then everything else you do for Husker Online. What's the vibe you're getting? Or is the vibe you're getting Nebraska can't outright win this game? It'll have to be USC blowing it, or this is one of those games where finally Nebraska wins it. What's the vibe check a couple of days out?
Trepidation, I think, is the
good word.
I hear a lot of that. Hopeful trepidation. I think there's a mix, and I think that's the way to approach it. I've heard one person say it's a 33% game. You know, you have a 1 in 3 chance type game. I like that description. It's not a great matchup in my opinion for Nebraska. It's not, but it's doable. It's doable, but I guess the thing that keeps going through my mind is Nebraska's November record under Rule, which is 1-7, and then the program's record. I think since 2019, it's 4-19 in November. So what you want to see is that trend. Now that trend needs to reverse, obviously. But how about this scenario?
Okay.
What if we walk away from Saturday night saying, "God dang, Nebraska put it all together"? When's the last time we've really said that? You know, they put all three phases together. That is what it should look like. We just don't say that hardly at all. You know, it's been a long time since I've come out of a game and said, "Boy, they put it all together that game."
Yeah, you know what? That's Sip. I like where you're going, because I would sit up and go, "Okay, they just have more dudes than Nebraska, but Nebraska played well, and you got to have a winner and loser." I would go, "Okay, there is some momentum. They had a hiccup against Minnesota. Now you got 3 to go, and you could finish 3-0. I mean, they could win all 4. They could lose all 4. That's the beauty of this season."
Yep.
Sip.
Yep. But they got to put it together now. I mean,
they haven't.
You'll take a really strong performance by Nebraska. It's something we haven't. It'll take the sort of performance we frankly haven't seen this year. You know, maybe you'd say Cincinnati, which when you go back on that game, it looks better and better. But I think it'd have to be better than that. You know, all 3 phases got to click to beat USC, I think.
Sip, how you doing? Doing good?
I'm doing fine. And you?
I'm doing great. It's great to talk to you.
This is Matt. Matt is joining us today from
I'm
Chicago.
Hello, Matt.
No, stop.
Hello, Matt.
I was just talking to my friend Sip. I haven't talked to him in a little bit. Steve,
Yes, Matt.
when John Butler got promoted from defensive backs coach into defensive coordinator position, I know that you know that the buzzwords were
better red zone defense, better third down defense, more
Yeah,
exotic
yeah.
looks, right? How many times
Yeah.
did we hear them say he's a genius? He's a genius. John Butler's a genius. Is this kind of the John Butler make your hay game to you? Is this the hey John, like you got it? This if there's a game to use that big brain, if there's a game to get creative, there's a game to find ways to get to Jaden Maeva, this is it. Is this kind of the John Butler make your money game?
I don't know. I don't know how you approach it in that regard. Do you? There's a good conversation there. Do you go after Maeva at the expense of help in the secondary, or do you play it safe and you don't go after Maeva and cover and use guys in coverage? I don't know what the strategy is. I know this. I just frame it up this way, Matt. I've thought about it. It's a huge game for Butler, if only because you're facing a premier and maybe the premier play caller in the country, offensive play caller. So I don't know make his hay. I don't know. I mean, I just would say this: if you're Butler, this is a uniquely challenging week because Lincoln Riley is that play caller that people like me, a layman. I'm a layman. I'm a football layman. I've never coached a game in my life. I regard myself as a layman, but a layman can see, wow, that's a play caller. You can watch last year's game against Nebraska, and it's discernible. I don't know how you describe it exactly, but it's a rhythm. It's a play calling flow. Things build off each other. They make sense. There's calls on third down plays where you're like, whoa, okay, that was a good call. He's that guy, and that's a massive challenge for Butler. And you don't want to come out of that looking overmatched, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
It's a huge part of the game. Just that window or that part of this night is gigantic. Lincoln Riley's play calling versus Nebraska. He's a premier play caller. He's like an Osborne-esque play caller.
I think you did a disservice to yourself because I do think you have a specialized knowledge of the game, but that's okay. You're very, very humble, which I appreciate. Sticking with the defensive side, so what combo do you think for Nebraska to win is more important? Let's put Nwaneri and McCullough together or Marshall and Wright.
Oh, God. I'm going to go, I always would lean towards up front. What happens up front is always a little more important to me. And you can, Matt Rule talks about it all the time, right? When he talks about like the four important things that have to happen, one is affect the quarterback. It might kind of go back to Matt's question to a certain extent. But Matt, here's the thing. One thing you can say about Butler's defenses, or not defenses, but this defense, they've had trouble getting pressure with four. It's always has to be 5 or 6, and they don't always get there. So that's sort of the answer to the question. But God, if Nwaneri and McCullough could make it so we can get pressure with 4, they're obviously big in that conversation. That would be very helpful. But you would agree, we haven't really seen them do that with any consistency this year.
And my question to you, I guess, Steve, would be like, is it fair to say that John Butler at this point can't trust that he's going to have guys with 4 rushers get to Jaden Maeva? And if
that's fair,
if the answer to that question is no, is it fair to assume that if they're going to have a chance to win this game, they have to find a way to send 6 and get to Maeva effectively?
But he's really strong against the blitz. That's what I mean. This is rough. He's his numbers, as the analytics suggest, very strong against the blitz. Picks it up, picks it apart. Now, again, fascinating conversation. Would he be as strong against the blitz if they can't get their calls? If he can't check and they have to go to silent because the crowd's so loud, that could affect that conversation. But no, he's been really good against the blitz. That's part of the problem. I don't know what you do. I think you're in a quandary against USC. Not that they're unbeatable. I don't want to make them. I don't want to make it sound like that. They're not. This isn't vintage USC. But they do have enough potency offensively to put you on skates.
Do you buy the weather thing?
It depends. I mean, I think I think you have to sort of make a distinction. If it's 42 degrees at kickoff and the wind's not blowing, no, not really. But if it would get down to 32 and the wind is blowing, yeah, then I would. But it doesn't sound like the weather will be a big factor. It sounds like 42 with no wind to me.
Hey, we have, you and I have seen a lot of football at Nebraska, and we've been lucky enough, some of us, to see the holy trinity of running backs at Nebraska. And I tweeted this out earlier. The more I watch Emmett's 25 season, which I think is headed towards possibly an All Big Ten, but you never know.
Mhm.
But he's gonna be on one of the All Big Ten teams at running back, first, second team, whatever. It makes me appreciate Amir a little bit more. What's the next level for Emmett? I mean, this has been a crazy story this year, Sip. He's a guy that went into the portal and they said, whoa, they had a discussion. They got right with his role and money and everything else. He comes back. I don't think anybody could have expected him to go to this level, but is there another level in the last 4 games or next year, because he still has another year of eligibility, that you think Emmett could achieve?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, but he's a doubles hitter. I mean, he's a great doubles hitter.
Mm.
So he'd be a little bit more of a home run hitter. He's not blessed with outstanding speed. He's got
Correct.
good functional, but there's maybe he adds a tick faster. He gets a tick faster. Also in that conversation is just durability, which he's showing incredible durability, but late season durability, he might be able to break runs that some guys wouldn't be able to break in November just because they're beaten down. I mean, a lot of what impresses me about him is his legs have looked live throughout the season. We've seen running backs at Nebraska where it was visible, it was very easy to see their legs aren't what they were earlier. I saw it with Anthony Grant. I mean, his legs looked dead for a portion of that season. Dedrick Mills, I thought his legs got a little dead, but not this guy. He's been live. I don't know. That'd be the only thing. The thing I appreciate him. I've always appreciated this part of him. He's relentless. He's a relentless runner. Now, you don't always see that. I've seen Nebraska backs that weren't relentless. He's an every down relentless back, and he's just improved. He's made his game better. I give him a ton of credit. I was skeptical, but I'm not skeptical now. He is the most important player on the field for Nebraska on Saturday night.
USC's against the rush really isn't all that great this year. It's probably their biggest weakness of their entire team. Do you think that in the run game, not in the pass block, but in the run block game, that Nebraska has the ability to bully USC up front?
That's a good question. I hope so. I wouldn't. I can't say a resounding yes because I just haven't seen enough of that happen. They'll be athletic. I wonder what that picture will look like, Matt. USC has been vulnerable against the run, particularly. I mean, really vulnerable against both Illinois and Notre Dame. I think Illinois averaged
5.2 yards.
Did they average 5.2? Was it 5 point? I thought it was in the 4s, but close enough. And then Notre Dame just rocked them. I mean, 182 yards at halftime. They have shown vulnerability, but the thing about them is I watched them against Illinois. They're not very big up front, but they're athletic. I don't know what that picture will look like exactly. I hope that Nebraska moves the line of scrimmage and gives Emmett sufficient room. He's good about kind of like, he reminds me of Amir sometimes, that he's very good about making something out of nothing. But you don't want to ask him to do that all the time. It's just too big of a toll.
Yeah, that'd be nice for just a hole to open up, because his vision, by the way, his vision from last year to this year is better, but maybe the holes aren't there as much. You maybe have to get skinnier through some of the holes compared to last year. Hey, we'll get you out of here on this. It's a monster game Saturday night. It is prime time. It is recruits galore that are going to be here, and some guys that are difference makers, whether they be next year or the following year. They got their Pied Piper coming from Chicago after he plays earlier in the day. They've got some high rolling donors that are going to be in attendance that they're going to say, look at Memorial Stadium. Isn't it too old? Let's update it. So there's a lot on the line on Saturday night. There's also not only the football guy that's coaching the team, but there's the athletic director. Sip, you kind of know where I'm going here. What do you think Dannon has in line for Rule to say, hey, this is where we are. I like the momentum. Here's what we have for you. A new stadium, new money, new contract, new resources, new NIL, a new wardrobe. What do you think Dannon, his role in all of this discussion about where Nebraska takes that next step is, starting with this weekend?
Well, I don't know how to answer, except I think we all know that there's some form of new contract coming. I guess that's what
you think new or just an extension onto the one that's supposed to end in 2030?
An extension.
Okay.
I mean, I always say new, but you're talking about it. You're talking about an extension.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the way I'd answer that, Gary. I don't think much changes. I think that Dannon does a good job of supporting Rule all the time. I don't think I always look at it this way with those two. I don't think much needs to change in the way Dannon supports Rule. He's very supportive in all ways you can imagine. So what I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a stadium project that we're all wondering about, but I don't even regard that as a head coach conversation. I really don't.
He dipped his toe in it, though.
What's that?
He dipped his toe in it when he was talking, in the first Monday after Penn State. He kind of talked about the stadium and some other things, and I mean, it's important.
That he doesn't even pay attention to it because it's not his realm. But anyway, I think that my answer is Dannon supports his football coach as well as he possibly can all the time. I don't think he needs to turn up the juice in that regard. But I don't know.
Yeah.
The dynamics on the stadium are really interesting. And it all goes back to what. It's just very simple. It's winning.
Yeah.
All the clouds remove themselves when W's pile up. Then we don't have these overcomplicated conversations.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Hey,
what a great quote.
Hey, if that is not your lead in your column, you're going to be writing at 12 o'clock Saturday night into Sunday morning if Nebraska wins. Please do that. I hope that's your lead.
W's remove the clouds. We have to go back to translate that.
I said it better than that, but yeah.
Clouds get removed when the W's pile up.
There it is. Sorry, I'm not I want to be a good lawyer clerk.
All right, Sip, we're looking forward to this. This is another big one. They get a redo from Michigan, but should be a lot of fun. Nebraska, USC. We're looking forward to seeing all of our friends from Los Angeles, and it'll be fun. It'll be fun next couple of days.
You guys are great. I appreciate it.
Hey, your favorite black? Johnny Cash? Anybody else that like their line is they wore black?
Black coffee?
John Cash would be really hard to beat.
Back in black, AC/DC?
No, John Cash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, he's the original. He did it for a reason, and I would say it's Johnny Cash by a long way.
Gotcha. That would be when you're out riding the motorcycle. I bet you got some Johnny Cash as wind is blowing through your hair. Sip.
I don't have any hair, but thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
You have enough.
See you guys.
Yeah. Have a good one.
See ya.
Be good. All right.
He's a motorcycle guy.
I don't think he has a motorcycle
nice
anymore.
Pickup truck.
Yeah. This is the song though. The song that would be. We're talking about. I call him Johnny. Sip knows him better. He calls him John.
John.
This would be a song. If you're going to play a Johnny Cash song in the stadium, God's going to cut you down. That's the song to play.
What was the last song he sang? Hurt.
Yep. I mean, it was the last release.
the last release
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great song.
All right,
It was covered.
we will talk to Brian Edwards coming up next. Maybe he's got a thought on Nebraska Southern Cal. Got an email earlier to stop calling them USC.
Why?
It is Nebraska Southern Cal,
Why is USC Southern California or Southern
Did
Carolina?
Lincoln
the
Riley?
University of Southern
you?
California.
No,
Yeah,
Southern.
I don't know that I would call them Southern Cal. I just have always called them USC. I until I went to a game at Williams-Brice, I thought USC was always the team that was in Los Angeles.
Sure, good point.
And then they were like, the University of South Carolina. I'm like, whoa, that's not true.
Go Gamecocks, baby.
They call themselves USC.
I know. You told me
Yeah.
the SC
And they also Carolina. Which Carolina? Is it South or North?
South.
They just call them Carolina. Yeah, I was like, man, I'm going, yeah, there's like people were talking USC, and I'm like, oh, got it. I love USC football. Pete Carroll. And they're like,
No.
no.
Beamer, buddy. Beamer.
I said, hey, boy, you know where you're at? You're in the South. All right. Brian Edwards, who lives in the South, ironically, and
Wow.
he'll have a cocktail or two because it's the cocktail party this weekend between Georgia and Florida. Can Florida pull an upset and wreck Georgia's playoff hopes, maybe? We'll see. B's coming up next on 1620 The Zone. All right, here we go. A good weekend of football begins tonight in the NFL. You have Baltimore and Miami. Baltimore's a 7.5-point favorite. We'll see if Brian Edwards, who's going to celebrate Georgia, Florida this weekend in Jayville, joins us now, the senior handicapper from Vegas Insider, MajorWager.com. Good morning.
BE.
Good morning, fellas. Florida, Georgia, Gary. Florida, Georgia.
Not Georgia, Florida. Yeah, damn right. Damn right.
Hey. I just go with the football game. I know you're a big fan of the former country group, Florida Georgia line.
The lead singer for them is named Brian Kelly, just like the LSU coach, and his wife has a store right across the street from one of my favorite bars, the iconic Red Bar in Drayton Beach, and he'll have like a concert, just him, not the whole band. He'll have a concert in the backyard of that deal a couple times in the summer. I'm not a huge fan, but I actually went to one of those shows though.
Okay, yeah, they are. It was too bad they broke up. They both gone to a solo act, but yeah, they were fun. All right, let's.
Oh, I didn't know they had broken up. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I understand why he plays solo then.
Yeah, but they're both of their solo careers are doing really well. All right, let's jump into this. Florida State's a mess. They started 3-0, now they're 0-4, and people are trying to find $60 million in Tallahassee. As you know, you live in the state of Florida. They're in a lot of money in Tallahassee. But we're waiting for DeSantis to have a similar press conference to the LSU governor whenever all that goes down. But with that said, Wake Forest is a somewhat of a big underdog in this game. Walk us through Wake Forest, Florida State. Huge game from Mike Norvell.
Yeah, so FSU's lost 9 games in a row in ACC play. Wake, if they get that offside on Georgia Tech, which they should have gotten, he was clearly offside. They're most likely 6-1. Look, this is a fade of Florida State, so there's nothing wrong with backing Wake Forest either. They're 2-0, but straight up and against the spread on the road. They're 12th nationally in both total defense and pass defense. Damon Claiborne's one of the best running backs in the country. They've won 3 of the last 4 outright against FSU. Give me Wake plus 10, and for a smaller amount, let's get some plus 280, plus 290 money line.
Okay. Nice. Miami finally leaves the state of Florida. They're going to Dallas to take on SMU. Trying to keep the playoff hopes alive. Weird in the ACC. Better chance to get to the playoff than the championship game. What happens between Miami and another healthy underdog, SMU?
Upset alert here. Now, the ACC injury report doesn't come out for the first time until tonight, and I'm a little concerned I'm like missing an injury or something, but I have scanned Twitter, Google searches. I don't think there's an injury I'm missing for SMU. Look, SMU 17-2 straight up in the last 19 home games, and the 2 losses were by 3 points apiece. One of them in overtime to Baylor in a game they led most of the way back in week 2. Miami under Cristobal on the road, 10-7 straight up, 8-9 against the spread. Carson Beck, the last 5 games, only 8 touchdown passes compared to 7 interceptions. I think it's a terrible line. I like SMU as a double-digit dog.
All right, we'll keep an eye on this because Cincinnati's lone loss is to Nebraska. Sorsby's only interception was at the end of that game against Nebraska on the opening weekend. Cincinnati at Utah, this is getting a lot of attention. It's got a good primetime slot. It gets game day. Utah and Salt Lake City, different story. But then Cincinnati rolls in there, B. They think they're going to the playoff, and they're a healthy underdog.
Yes, they are. So Dampier was not on the injury report last night after sitting out last week against Colorado with an ankle injury. So I guess he's good to go. But we still have the quarterback advantage with Sorsby. Like you said, only 1 interception, 20 touchdown passes, 425 rushing yards, 7 touchdowns, 6.2 yards per carry average. But the best stat, he's only been sacked twice in 8 games. And Cincinnati, yeah, they've won 7 in a row now. They're not going to have Evan Pryor, but their number 2 running back, Tawee Walker, he has 466 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns, 5.2 yards per carry average. I like Cincy plus 10.
Hey, elimination game again in prime time, going on simultaneously as Nebraska USC here in Lincoln, Tennessee, Oklahoma, and Knoxville. This line's kind of small to me. Tennessee just a field goal favorite.
Yeah, Oklahoma's offense is really struggling. Regardless of whether it's the thumb or what, Mateer has just, he's really been struggling here lately. And,
Yeah, Vols -3 at home. If it's gone to 3.5, which at last look, a few books had gone to 3.5, I'd buy the half point to 3. But yeah, Vols -3.
Then the other, let's stick in the SEC. Mississippi State, one of the best choke jobs of the year. They had Texas down at home. Stark Vegas is rocking. The cowbells are ringing. They lose. Now they go play Petrino's Arkansas, who they do look different after Sam Pittman. Mississippi State, 4.5-point underdog. Intriguing game. How do we feel about this one in the SEC?
Yeah, Mississippi State is 3 plays away from being 7-1 straight up, but they're still 7-1 against the spread. I mean, they've lost twice in overtime. They were in field goal range with less than a minute, down 2 to Florida and throw an interception. But look, they're 13-3 against the spread their last 16, dating back to last year. Arkansas, when they have been favored the last 17 times, 4-13 against the spread with 7 outright losses. And they've lost 6 in a row. And this year as a favorite, they're 1-3 against the spread with 2 outright L's. I like Mississippi State plus 4.5 and a smaller play on the Bulldogs plus 165 on the money line.
Props. Give it to me. You got a Georgia Tech prop. You got a Florida prop. What are you looking at for player props this week? BE.
Haynes King over rushing yards anywhere in the 75.5 to 79.5 range. So he has 156, 103, 15, which is an outlier and a blowout against Temple. 106, 60, another under. 120 and 91. So he's gone over 75.5 by at least 15.5 yards in 5 of 7 games. He sat out 1 game against Gardner-Webb in week 2. But in the 3-1 possession game, when he's, putting himself in harm's way more often, he's got 156, 103, and 106. And they're favored by 5.5 in this game. And, it's, when they have a close game, he's got his season highs in carries, 19, 25, and 21. So I like it over. And then I like Dallas Wilson anytime touchdown in the plus 150 to plus 170 range. He's played 3 college games, had 2 touchdown catches in game 1, had another touchdown catch in game 2, did not have a touchdown catch last game, but I think he gets back in the touchdown column, plus 150 to plus 170 for the Florida freshman receiver.
All right, quickly, let's go to the NFL. I'm jealous of Patriots fans. They seemingly get to enjoy another franchise quarterback in Drake May. They take on the Atlanta Falcons, who look terrible with Kirk Cousins, but get Michael Penix Jr. back this Sunday.
And Drake London practiced yesterday. They'll probably have him back. Won't matter. New England by double digits. Let's also put New England in a 2-game 6-point teaser. Or, well,
nice.
Assuming Detroit's still 8.5. Let me go to there.
Yeah, it's 8.5
like
still. Still 8.5.
Okay, well, if you get Detroit to 2.5 to win by a field goal and New England to win outright, I like that teaser big.
And then are you still riding the Colts? The Colts have been awesome this year against the spread, and I know by personal experience.
Yeah, I like the Colts -3 at Pittsburgh, which seems to be starting to fade.
Mm-hmm.
And their aging defense, I don't know if they're going to be able to handle Jonathan Taylor. And Danny Dimes is playing like an MVP.
Yeah, he is. B, have a great weekend. Enjoy the game in Jacksonville. And we'll chat next week, and we'll also pick your brain on what you see with Nebraska and USC post that game on Saturday night, my friend.
Thanks, fellas. Y'all have a great weekend as well.
Thank you. That's Brian Edwards, our Vegas insider, senior handicapper there. Also, MajorWager.com. You can follow him on Twitter at VegasBEdwards.
Colts against the spread this season, 6-2. Should be 7-1. Cha-ching.
Tomorrow, Football Friday Fiesta. We'll try and develop some hate for USC. Our good friend, your good friend, our Russian bot here in Omaha, Karen McGee, tweeted, I almost said she tweeted this whole mutual respect thing between Nebraska and USC fans on Twitter is making me feel weird. Someone needs to threaten to assault someone soon or I'm going to freak out. Guess who quote tweeted her?
Who?
So Jake Olson, who is the great story of the blind long snapper.
Oh, my God.
So he quote tweeted her and said, Nebraska's offense is more lost than I'd be in a corn maze. There, I hope that helps. I think we're just...
God.
I know.
College football is incredible, isn't it?
We'll try and get some hate between now and tomorrow at 6. Crossovers coming up next. Thanks to all of our guests. Great show, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow on Halloween on 1620 The Zone.